Hello. Yeah. Okay, guys. Good evening. Again, it's been about a break for about 1 week since we last discussed Brahma Puran, and today I hope to discuss Brahma Puran more than other current affairs topics. But also, all forever and after, since we live in India, we always have interesting, exciting topics to discuss. But today, the focus will be on Brahma Puran. Okay. And as people join, we will delve into some other topics just for a break, for a mental break as well. So today we start from that interesting part which is usually used by commies to criticize Hinduism or Hindu gods. That why did Lord Krishna have so many wives? Was he a womanizer? Was he an evil person? This is the chapter that's going to discuss that. So this subchapter of Brahma Puran is called 16,100 Maidens. लो काव्य कैसे हो भाई सब ठीक yes how are you Faiz namaskar dada namaskar. Okay, let's start this little subchapter. It's a very small subchapter, so by then if more people join, I'll bring up some other topics that I have in mind. Not topics, just I have some questions forever. Vyasa said, the illustrious Keshava was praised in this way by the king of the gods. He laughed and spoke in words that were full of deep sentiments. The illustrious one said, you are Indra, the king of the gods. O Lord of the universe, we are mortals. You should pardon any transgressions that have been committed by me. Let this Parijata tree be taken away to its proper spot. O Shakra, I seized it because of Satya's words, meaning Satyabhama. Take back the Vajra, which you had hurled towards me. O Shakra, this is your weapon, used to shatter enemies. Shakra replied, O Lord, why are you confounding me by telling me that you are mortal? We know that you are the infinite and illustrious one, the source of bliss. O Jagannatha, you are who you are. You are established in your own conduct. O slayer of asuras, you act so as to remove the stakes of the universe. O Krishna, let this Parijata tree be taken away to the city of Dwaravati. As long as you are in the world of the mortals, it will remain on earth. Hari agreed to what Indra of the gods had said and returned to earth, praised by Siddhas, Gandharvas and Rishis. Taking the excellent tree with him, Krishna left speedily. O Brahmanas, arriving above Dwarka, he blew on his conch shell, generating delight among the residents of Dwarka. Here a little footnote is given by the translator Bibek Debroy. He's saying he was in the air astride the Garuda, and that's why it's being said that arriving above Dwarka. Along with Satyabhama, he descended from Garuda and placed the giant Parijata tree in the pleasure garden. People who approached it could remember their past lives. For a distance of 3 yojanas around it, the ground was rendered fragrant because of the scent of its flowers. When the Yadavas came to see the tree, they inhaled divine and human fragrances. Krishna accepted Naraka's possessions that had been brought there, servants, elephants, horses and wealth. When an auspicious occasion presented itself, Janardana married the women, all the maidens who had been brought from Naraka's residence. O supreme Brahmanas, Govinda followed his own dharma, and at the same time, in a separate body, he accepted the hands of each of them, following the norms. There were more than 16,100 women. The illustrious Madhusudana simultaneously assumed that many forms. However, each maiden thought that Madhusudana was with her alone. Govinda has accepted only my hand. O Brahmanas, Hari is the creator of the universe, and the universe is his form. He spent the nights in each of their homes. So you see, even if we look for atheist or Marxist interpretations of Hindu scriptures, we could easily argue that it wasn't really even Krishna himself, because each woman thought that her husband is with her all the time. So it does not necessarily have to be even by Marxist interpretations, by atheist interpretations, materialistic interpretations, that it was Krishna himself. It was probably people who represented Krishna, or who were so good that it almost seemed like Krishna, they carried the ethos of Krishna. Ram Ram Bhai. Ram Ram. Okay. Now this subchapter is called Battle with Bana, or Bana, I think. Vyasa said, O Brahmanas, I have already told you about Hari's sons born through Rukmini, Pradyumna and the others. Satyabhama gave birth to Bhanu and other sons. Through Rohini, Hari's sons were Prapaksha and other radiant ones. Samba and others, strong in arms, were born through Jambavati. Nagnajiti had Bhadravinda and other extremely strong sons. Among Shaibya's sons, Sangramjit was the foremost. Since Mitravinda was descended from King Shibi, she is also known as Shaibya. Vrika and others were the sons of Madri. Madri means Rohini, the daughter of the king of Madra. Among Lakshmana's sons, the chief was Gatravan. Shruta and others were the sons of Kalindi. The wielder of the chakra had other sons through other wives. He had 81,100 sons. The text is such that the number can be inferred in different ways. Krishna had 8 main wives and 16,100 minor ones. Minor meaning not in age, but minor meaning less significant. With each wife, he had... I think the light is... Okay, I was taking away the focus of the camera. With each wife, he had 10 sons and 1 daughter. That is the standard account. Therefore, there were 80 main sons through the 8 main wives. Collectively, there were 1,61,080 sons. In any event, the text varies from the standard account. So he had 81,100 sons. Among all these, Pradyumna, Rukmini's son, was the eldest. Aniruddha was Pradyumna's son and Aniruddha's son was Vajra. O supreme among Brahmanas, the immensely strong Aniruddha was captured in an encounter and married Usha, Bana's daughter and Bali's granddaughter. Because of this, there was a terrible battle between Hari and Shankara. The wielder of the chakra cut off Bana's 1,000 arms. The sages who are sitting in front of Vyasa and listening to this, the sages asked, for the sake of Usha, how did a battle occur between Hara and Krishna? How did Hari destroy Bana's arms? O immensely fortunate one, you should tell us everything about this. We are extremely curious to hear about this auspicious account. Vyasa said, O Brahmanas, Usha, Bana's daughter, saw Parvati sport with Shambhu and felt an urge that she should also do something like that. Gauri, who knows about the minds of everyone, spoke to the beautiful one. She said, enough of this repentance. You will also amuse yourself with your husband. Thus addressed, she thought, who will be my husband and when? So Usha didn't speak. Parvati knew her thoughts. Parvati spoke to her again. Parvati said, O princess, on the 12th day of Shukla Paksha in the month of Vaishakha, the person who overpowers you in your dreams will become your husband. As the goddess had spoken on that particular day, a man overpowered her in her sleep and she fell in love with him. However, when she awoke and was eager, she could not see him. O Brahmanas, without any sense of shame in front of her friend, she exclaimed, where has he gone? Bana had a minister named Kumbhanda and his daughter Chitralekha was her friend. She asked, who are you speaking about? At first, since she was ashamed, she did not tell her friend. However, having gained her trust, she heard everything that she said. She meaning Chitralekha. Chitralekha heard everything that Usha said. When she got to know everything, she again told her everything the goddess had spoken and said, quickly devise a means so that the task can be accomplished. Chitralekha drew pictures of the foremost gods, Daityas, Gandharvas and humans and showed them to her. She looked away from Gandharvas, Uragas, gods and Asuras and fixed her glances on humans, especially Andhakas and Vrishnis. Andhakas, okay? Andhaka Sura Sudana. Lord Shiva is also known as Andhaka Sura Sudana. Seeing Krishna and Rama, the one with the excellent eyebrows became bashful. O Brahmanas, when her glance fell on Pradyumna, she turned away in shame. However, as soon as her glance fell on her beloved, Pradyumna's son, she exclaimed, this is he, this is he. Her friend comforted Usha. Using her powers of yoga, she travelled to Dvaravati. Now the next subchapter is called Usha and Aniruddha. Nice. I remembered something. This four epic fantasy action series that I spoke of in my video, all my books. So this series is about fusing Celtic mythology with a bit of Christian epistemology, because it's kind of fused with the poem called Paradise Lost with Celtic mythology, right? So someone had commented, and then he deleted his comment, that there's absolutely no way that the Celts are descendants of any Hindus in any way. Druhu and all, Yamnayas are not Indian at all. He said that that's an Aryan invasion myth. I said no, I got this idea from Abhijit Chavda himself, and then I did some of my own research as well, and think that yes, there might be that might have been the case, that these people, Yamnayas, were basically a tribe that was kicked out of exiled from India. So that's a long conspiracy theory in itself. But the main problem is there's no way to vehemently or significantly stick to any one side of this argument, okay? Because the evidence is absolutely too less and too thin. The Druids did not write much about themselves. Whatever's written about them is mostly from Julius Caesar's account of them, okay? When Julius Caesar was invading their lands, he was invading the French Gauls, etc., who were also descendants of these Yamnaya tribes, Celtic people. So, but another evidence that I forgot to mention that day when I was discussing these books is that not only there are evidence, there are hints that these might have been sort of a Hindu kind of Brahminical kind of tradition. There's a separate priest class. They have a book of spells with which they do fire rituals. They use sentences like "Mi tu amaru," which means I want to kill you. But even other than that, that entire setting of this particular story is in a fictitious place called the Banished Lands, okay? Because the Celtic mythology is all about people living in a banished land. Why? Because they are the banished people. So that absolutely gels with the Druhu being Yamnaya tribe, okay? Because they were banished from Bharat, which is why wherever they went, they kept settling there, and that would become their banished lands. So it might have very well been the case that Celtic people of today, Irish people of today, are descendants of Indians in a way. Okay, now let me check some comments. Sabhi ko alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah means thank you. So yes. Dada, what do you think about Uday Stalin's remark? Yeah, I'll tell you. Statement is just to stir controversy, should not be taken seriously. I only think how dare they say these things. Yes, Europe should be added to Akhand Bharat. Europe is definitely part of Akhand Bharat, but also not in a way it could be argued that it's not the case because we exiled them. Exile करने के बाद अब अगर उनका जगह फिर से हम वापस मांग ले तो ऐसा नहीं चलेगा. कैसे चलेगा दादा? So now Uday Stalin's remark is absolutely golden, because this almost makes sure that BJP will get some extra votes in the region. But other than that, see, anytime we are arguing with a commie or an atheist, liberal, or even non-Hindus, while defending Hinduism, what is the first thing we are always going to say? Because based on a superficial, top level, just layman's outsider's approach, what is the first thing we are going to say about Hinduism while defending it? Okay, what's the first great thing we are going to claim about Hinduism? It's that it's the most liberal tradition, liberal religion or culture in the world, because we accept criticism or even unnecessarily pointless abuses. And these are the moments which go in your kitty bag, in your bag of brownie points, okay, where you get to again claim in future, in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 100 years from now, we are again going to be able to say that when there was a so-called Hindu fascist government in power, when there was a so-called Hindu majority leading the country, even then, a minority chief minister from a less popular party in the country got away with saying that Sanatan Dharma should be eradicated, and nothing happened to him. This is where we get to earn these points. And I get it that, Monica Ganguly, what you are saying, that how dare he say that. Yes, be pissed off. Even I'm pissed off. First of all, it made me laugh. But of course, I am pissed off in a way as well in some contexts. But just be pissed off and nothing more. This is where we get to say that we are not like them. Anything like them, their religion, their political ideology, anything. This is why. Because he gets to get away with saying these things. And for the people saying that, yes, but from any other religion, they would not get away saying these things, right? Yes, and that's why they will remain stupid. They will lose arguments, etc. And even if they have an army of pattharbazes on the streets to kill you or to threaten Nupur Sharma for the rest of her lives, so be it. That's their stupidity that's going to lead them down the drain forever. They are going to remain poor. They are going to remain stupid. Everything. All these people that, not all these, that some of these people who become even doctors and engineers and still remain a pattharbaz in their mind, that's still a significant minority. The majority of their population is going to remain stupid as long as they keep threatening Nupur Sharma, as long as they keep looking on for a chance to kill Nupur Sharma. We can't afford to be like them. Like I said in my previous day's live stream, that this is our house in the end. We have something to lose. They don't have anything to lose. Even if it was their house, they would have been blowing this up. They don't know how to maintain a house. Pattharbazes of Indian subcontinent, not even Indian subcontinent entirely, just the Indian landmass, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, are the most or probably the only stupid ones in the entire world, because they can't end their overcompensation. इनका overcompensation खत्म नहीं ही होता है. अभी तक प्रमाण करते फिर रहे कि they feel like Bakhtiyar Khilji's spirit is in front of their eyes all the time. They have to prove, see, Rajaji, Raja Sahab, you converted us, and see, we are so dedicated to you. We are still behaving like a new convert, and we have to prove ourselves. See, like in Southeast Asia, they have so many statues of Ram, Ganesh, everyone, right? They don't feel a problem with that. First of all, because they don't have that insecurity. Even Saudi Arabia, UAE are starting, are allowing the building of Hindu temples. They are going to teach Mahabharata, Ramayana, yoga, etc. in their schools. All these people, they don't have insecurity. Southeast Asian Muslims don't have insecurity. Sara insecurity hai Pakistan ka. Now, my argument that it is our home, we should protect it, it's not their home. Even if it was their home, what the fuck would they do? Look at Pakistan and Bangladesh. They have screwed their homes there only. But, and in case of Southeast Asia, one might argue that they are not that insecure, probably because they were converted by a different batch of people, not by people like Bakhtiyar Khilji or Afghani people, Afghani invaders, because they were mostly converted by the Chinese Navy Admiral, Muslim eunuch Navy Admiral, who was castrated when he was a child as a slave, Zheng He, who used to go there for business and saw that this Southeast Asian landmass is too much in friendship with the Hindu landmass called India. So how to sow a dissension between them? Let's just make them Muslims. So my guess is when they were converted, they were probably told that it's no big deal. Have your Hindu name, have your Hindu gods, but worship Allah. What's your problem? Just so that you don't be as good of a friend with this landmass called Bharat. So maybe they did not have that much of an insecurity, but it's absolutely fact that Saudi Arabia, UAE, Southeast Asia, Muslims of those places are not like India, Bangladesh and Pakistan's Muslims. So we can't afford to bring ourselves down to their level. They are stupid. So we will have to just be pissed off, criticize, jitna gali dena hai Udaynidhi ko Twitter pe do. Accepting being pro free speech doesn't mean you don't criticize them. Now, when we criticize Udaynidhi, when we give gali to Udaynidhi on Twitter, some dumbasses are going to come and say, no, it's his free speech. Why should you be pissed off? Why are you criticizing him? Why are you giving him gali? It's his free speech. Arey free speech hai to gali dena bhi mera free speech hai. But it should be at the level of gali. Or if you think you can apply 295A to him, best of luck. That's never going to happen. Blasphemy is for culturally homogeneous communities, small communities like the Pattharbaz, or for politicians to use on you. You are never going to be able to use blasphemy laws. Which is why I've always said that these laws have to go. Best case scenario is you have a gun at your home. Europe should be added to Akhand Bharat. Ancient polytheist Europe should be restored. I don't think it will ever happen again. Just too stupid. I'll give as money as you want, but give me all your books. only book I will give you is my free Bengali Bible. Bro, I'm new to this channel. Just curious, what's your educational background? I'm a college dropout. In third year, I was studying journalism, and I dropped out in the third year. That was 9 years back. And now I'm mainly professionally a music programmer, arranger, background music composer, mix engineer, those sorts of things. This is my home studio. Why is Muslim population in Bangladesh so high? Why wouldn't it be high? Pakistan makes sense since it is on border of Afghanistan, but Bangladesh is in the middle of India basically. Yeah, surrounded by Hindu on both sides. Yeah, Because this is because of the thing we discussed in the last day's live stream. Okay, someone had asked that is there a connection between Bengal being so communistic, so leftist all the time, so anti-Hindu, or so prone to invasions? Is it because of them not being celebrating enough of masculinity in a way? Is there an issue with Bengali men being weak in general? To which I agreed with and then gave some of my explanations. I said that it's probably because the nature, climate is so beautiful and fertile, so comfortable here. Maybe that creates a certain complacency, which in turn creates weakness in the men of these lands. But of course, I didn't make a clip out of that, because then everyone will say, "Arey, Netaji hai, Netaji, Sri Aurobindo, Khudiram Bose. How are you calling men of Bengal weak?" Well, in general, Netaji, Sri Aurobindo, all of them were exceptions. None of them were the mainstream, okay? But other than that, we have to create our own imaginary Bengali king, vicious, brave kings like Pratapaditya. The only significant brave king we have is probably Shashank. The Pals were not gigantically, insanely great kings. Of course, one of them did extend the kingdom all up to Punjab, which is why Pal is a common surname even among Sikh Punjabis, Hindu Punjabis as well. And then some of them later changed it to being the Pal being the middle name, Amrit Pal Singh. Okay, that उन लोगों का पाल आया है, हमारे पाल राजाओं का वहाँ पे invasion हो गया था इसलिए only. But other than that, it's not like we have countless kings and kings, Hindu kings after Hindu kings, brave and all. And the Sen kings were basically Kannada. They came from Karnataka. So there is definitely a strong evidence of Bengali men not being that strong, etc. But this is because of that. That is why Bangladesh is so heavily Islamized. By the way, which sampradaya do you resonate most with? My family was historically Vaishnava, because I think non-Brahmins of Bengal are always Vaishnav. So I was Vaishnava historically, but my parents were communists, so they kind of stopped it there. We didn't do any worshipping at home, etc. And I am now most interested in Shaivism personally, so I'm kind of hitting a reset button in my family. Okay, wait, let me change the category of this comment section to all comments. Every day ये खुद से करना पड़ता है, नहीं तो कुछ comment गायब हो जाता है. Okay. Even Aurangzeb and Macaulay weren't able to eradicate Sanatan Dharma, so these shits, yeah. But what Abhijit Ayar Mitra said is pretty interesting, which basically explained to me that Tamil Nadu is in many ways in a worse condition than Bengal. You see, Abhijit Ayar Mitra said that these comments are common in Tamil Nadu politics, which is not the case with Bengal at all. You know, these comments won't be accepted in Bengal. These things are said by random JU commies, etc. But from a chief minister saying these things, okay, from a chief minister's son saying these things, they will never get away saying these things in Bengal even. Now that even BJP is a significant voice, now maybe they won't get away at all. But I don't think even before, I've never heard these sorts of comments. And overtly anti-Hindu एक narrative subtle तरीके से, subtle messaging से बंगाल में होता है. Directly आगे कोई हिंदू को हिंदुइज्म के लिए गाली दे देगा, ये मैंने जिंदगी में नहीं देखा है बंगाल में. I don't think that's ever going to happen in Bengal. The only reason then why Bengal is so you see, Bengal's problem is not that they are not Hindu enough, because Bengal would not accept these bullshit like Tamil Nadu accepts. But Tamil Nadu's advantage is that they are economically more prosperous than Bengal, because they never faced partition, they never faced Islamic invasions, their education system never went to complete hell because of communism, which is why they had many NRIs sending them money back. So all those problems have created an economic shithole-like situation in Bengal. But in terms of Hinduness, I think Bengal is much ahead of Tamil Nadu even today. Okay. Why is Muslim population? Yeah, I already discussed that. So much has been going on in these few weeks. Oh no, Stalin's comment, JSD banned by JSD banned. JSD got barred by the Bar Council. Third year may drop out, 3 idiots. No, that's a long story why I dropped out. Bhai, which sampradaya do you resonate? Yeah. Here to learn. Mamta respects Sanatan and I'm Hrithik Roshan. I would say she respects Sanatan, but she is like most devout Hindus of even Mofussil, Bengal. Okay, the city devout Hindu folk of practicing Hindus of Kolkata city, they are not really practicing Hindus. Maybe some Trinamool supporters are. Communism, CPI mein to almost no one is. Although in our previous generation, there used to be a group of people who were great Shakta, Devi Bhakts, but were CPIM at the same time. In my generation, no CPIM supporter is really a devout Hindu. They are absolutely lying out of their fucking teeth. But in terms of Trinamool supporters, there are some really devout Hindus. But in the villages and Mofusils of Bengal, there are really devout Hindus. But they are not overtly BJP supporters because they feel that it does not need defense. Okay, Hinduism is great. It's going on and it will go on. No one can do us any harm because their history education is absolutely filtered. It's absolutely colored with the fake Pattharbaz history that we have been taught. For that, they think that what's the problem with any Pattharbaz? Okay, the people who feel the brunt of those things in the villages, those people, those specific people in the villages, they are becoming BJP supporters. But other than that, in general, all the devout Hindus of Bengal, even Mamta Banerjee, therefore, probably doesn't think that Hinduism needs any defense. It's chal raha hai, theek se, kya problem hai? Why are all liberals anti-BJP? Well, they should be. They should have been ideally biggest BJP supporters. BJP is the most liberal party. Even economically, they are pretty socialist. Everything that liberalism stands for, BJP is that. Now, liberals don't stand for BJP. Liberals are anti-BJP because liberals don't know. Liberals are not that educated these days. The liberals of yesteryears, when we were not born or when we were young, okay, the liberals of those era knew what the fuck liberal meant. What's the difference between a communist and a socialist? What's the difference between a socialist and a liberal? All those things were they were well versed in these terminologies. Now everyone calls themselves a liberal, but they don't know that they are basically communist or or socialist. Okay, so that's why they think I'm a liberal, but I'm against BJP. No, you are against BJP because you're not liberal. So actually liberals are in favor of BJP. Don't you think that no repercussion against Stalin is because of weakness of Hindus, or is it our liberal thoughts? It is our liberal thoughts. We don't feel the extra energy to go and beat him up in front of his house. Or extra step ले भी तो क्या ले? Either 295 है, नहीं तो अब जिंदगी भर किसी को बिठा के रखो, जहाँ देखेंगे इसको मार देंगे, ऐसा कुछ बोल के किसी को बिठा के रखना होगा. We don't have that much kind of time on our hands as well. Rudra Narayan of Bhuri Shrestho is a Radi Hindu masculine king who is real. Okay, maybe. I'll find out about him in some significant book that's actually endorsed by some historian. She said she respects Sanatan because she never gives Purohit Bhat. Bhaiya, how we can have a proper Hindu unity who can defend both physically and intellectually? Seems like Savarkarji's Hindu militarization needs 2.0. No, Hindu unity is not going to happen. Hindu unity will at best be everyone uniting and voting for one particular party, and the economy being a little more free market oriented, right wing oriented, economically right wing. That will lead to Hindu prosperity. But the Hindu unity that we speak of is never going to happen because there's regionalism bullshit, there's caste, there's a different sampradayas to some extent. That's of course the least of the problems because other than ISKCON, I think no one has or ISKCON and Arya Samaj, the new sects, people who are not of these sampradayas, they don't have a problem with ISKCON and Arya Samaj. But the people from ISKCON, people from Arya Samaj, they also consider themselves Hindus. So I don't think there's much unity going to be possible between these people, especially because the criticisms that people throw at each other from these sampradayas are pretty vicious. And I think it's unnecessarily rude. Now, I am not a devout Arya Samaji or devout non-Arya Samaji because I came to know of the term Arya Samaj only 3 years back. So I don't have a stake in this, but as a curious outside observer, I'm noticing that the criticisms are too harsh on both sides. Like Tufel Chaturvedi. What weird criticisms he made of Lord Hanuman and Hanuman Chalisa, him being an Arya Samaji. And there's everyone who is not an Arya Samaji, is everyone is going around telling Arya Samajis to their faces, not to their faces, at least in the comment section, that it's a covert, it's a hijacking done by Abrahamics, it's done by Christians, it's done by Muslims. Arya Samaj is a fake Hindu propaganda arm. So that's pretty insane how rude they are with their criticisms. So if they are so rude with their criticisms with fellow at least Hindus officially, who are kind of at least, speaking for you or worshipping these same gods in their mind, maybe not directly in front of the idol. So how is unity going to happen? Unity will never happen. Militarization 2.0. मिलिटराइजेशन 2.0 के लिए कोई घर पे तो बैठ नहीं सकता है कि वेट करते हैं कब मिलिटराइजेशन होगा. बट व्हाट वी कैन रियली आस्क फॉर इज डिकोलोनाइजिंग आवर सेल्फ डिफेंस लॉज. खुद घर पे बंदूक रखो, खुद जाओ ब्राजीलियन जिu-jitsu सीखने. इसके लिए कोई टीम, कोई यूनिटी, हिंदू यूनिटी नहीं चाहिए. खुद से अगर हम लोग on an individual level, if all of us train martial arts and have a gun license and have a gun at home, or even ask the government to get rid of this bullshit gun rights, okay, self-defense laws, that even if you do end up having a gun without having an army personnel or a politician at your home, you're going to have to give up your gun on the day of the riot to the police station, okay? All these insane laws, if they go away, you don't even need that hypothetical Hindu unity and militarization. You are safe in your own home. Better than Congress and CPI, people who openly endorsed Stalin's comments. Imagine electing a politician who names himself Stalin. Imagine a father who names his son Stalin. Are your parents still communists? Yes. By the way, if you resonate with Shaivism, I did not find any Shaiva books in your book tour, but rather ISKCON works tha. Shri Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. And all the ISKCON books were gifted to me. A friend of mine was recently became curious about Hinduism, so she went to ISKCON and bought like 15 books and gifted me those 3. Where do you see Kolkata, Bengal in the next 10 to 20 years? I'm from Kolkata, live elsewhere. Should I be concerned? If your house, your family is in the Kolkata city, you don't have much reason to be concerned. People outside Kolkata in North 24 Parganas and South 24 Parganas, they are pretty screwed. I think those places will become absolute Muslim mohallas. And other than that, economically, Bengal's GDP growth rate is about 8 to 10%. That's of course in the lowest 3 of the entire country, because highest GDP growth rate is of UP, which is about 19%. Bengal's is about 8 to 10%. So economically, we will keep seeing some little droplets of prosperity or the other, because the country is prospering so much. Some of that will come to Bengal as well. But other than that, at best, I could say that it will be a little better than it is today, but it will be far behind all other Indian states. And in terms of worst case scenarios, you will probably see an AFSPA-like situation. Nothing worse than that. Okay, some more comments. Tamilians have become cowards. At least more than Bengalis apparently. দাদা আমাদের বাংলাতে তো বন্ড মুসলমান তন্ত্র সাধক. That's insane. Muslim tantric. But Abhay said that maybe Abhay who? Abhay Agarwal? Which Abhay? But Abhay said that maybe in the next 10 years the feeling of Hindutva will rise in both Bengal and Tamil Nadu. In Bengal, that is a possibility. I'm not insanely hopeful, because a lot of youngsters today who spend a lot of time on the internet, etc. Not the commie intellectual class of Kolkata specifically, but the rest of Bengal, they are spending a lot of time on the internet and are coming to know of these new histories of Vikram Sampath, J.Sai Deepak, Abhijit Chavra. They are motivated to a large extent. Now, what I'm afraid is that since they are in their late teens or early 20s, a lot of views change by the time they are 30. So I'm thinking it might backfire as well. These people, these kids might be devout, staunch Hindutva, pro-Hindutva right now, but by the time they reach their 30s, they will probably not be that much pro-Hindutva again, because they will move on and digress to other thoughts. But that is the beauty. That is the beauty of a free thinking process. At the end of the day, they will come out of this entire process of contemplating whether Hindutva is good or bad, But that will make them more intelligent, and that will make them better citizens, that will make them more aware, more informed citizens, that will make them better parents, everything. All these processes are extremely important. How can we represent organic Dalit proponents of Hindutva from Dalit against toxic Bhim internationally? This has to be done by Dalits themselves. वो बीजेपी का जो दलित विंग है उसको ही काम करना होगा, ये हमसे नहीं होगा. सावित्री देवी wait कहाँ गया? Savitri Devi said that Hinduism is eternal, but Hindudom is not. Many don't understand this. Well said. Which is why Jesai Deepak said that if at all the worst case scenario comes, that someday we have to choose between saving our religion versus saving our land, I will save my religion and leave the land if it does come to that. Jesai Deepak said this. Are your parents still communists? Yeah, we did this. Bhai, will you go to Jaipur Dialogues Conclave as a volunteer? You can meet a lot of people like Sanjay Dixit and Jesai Deepak. Yes, I wanted to go last year as well, and in my mind I want to go, but I don't have the time and money to do it right now. Otherwise I would absolutely love to go, and it's too far. It's on the other side of the country. Is there any negative aspects of BJP RSS? If there is some, can you highlight some? They believe in a lot of band-aids. They believe in a lot of band-aids less than everyone else. Congress CPM is full of band-aids and band-aids and band-aids. Trinamool is band-aid over a band-aid. By band-aid law, I mean that whatever a problem arises, they don't solve the root cause of the problem. They just create a sort of a fake layer that seems to deal with the problem, or make an agency, make an investigative agency, make a commission that will work on this problem, and forever we'll pay some bureaucrats or retired judges, etc., for that problem to be solved. But the problem was caused by something else, and no one addresses that. That's the issue with most Indian political parties, and BJP is also to be blamed for that. But my main concern with BJP is that they are not economically right-wing enough, but every day they are making some improvements, and I think even now that the third term is going to begin, we will see some significant reforms. Things are getting better. It's not just getting better at the speed some of us want. That's the only thing I will say, because I can even claim, I can absolutely put my name on something and bet 5,000 rupees that if Narendra Modi does these things, Narendra Modi follows Thomas Sowell's policies on economics and arrests all farmer kisan netas and puts them in house arrest, you will see a magical change in India in 5 to 10 years. But if by doing that he loses the election and Rahul Gandhi or the Mamata Banerjee becomes the Prime Minister, then it's nobody's gain. So let them do in whatever speed they want. And we at the ground level can have these conversations so that we change the minds of the people in debates or friendly hangouts with our friends, discussions over tea and coffee, YouTube, everywhere, that economically we have to be further right-wing. We need more free speech. We need significant self-defense reform. We have to create these conversations in the first place. Because let me tell you that at the end of the day, I don't think the Prime Minister really operates according to his own will in India. There is a more or less a consensus on which he works, because I would like to think that Narendra Modi probably wants to listen to Sanjeev Sanyal, Bibek, Debroy more, who are absolutely free market guys, but he can't because he has to win elections. So if someday when Yogi Adityanath, Himanta Biswa Sharma, K. Annamalai come to power, they will also operate based on what the general people or their voting base want in general. Okay. So at the moment, Himanta Biswa Sharma, Yogi Adityanath, K. Annamalai, they may not be real free market folk, okay? But by the time they become prime ministers, and if we on the other hand, the right-wing civil society, create a discourse which creates more pro free market folk on the ground level, all the 16 to 25-year-old kids who are becoming fans of Thomas Sowell, by the time they become adults, 35, 40, and when K. Annamalai, Yogi Adityanath, these people become the prime minister, they will have no choice other than being more free market as well. So we have a nice and interesting and very significant job on our hands too. It's not all up to the Prime Minister and BJP RSS. Okay. Is there any negative? Okay. Bhai sab, pranam, Shaptarshi, namaskar. Namaste bhai, namaste. Agree with your opinion about Sampradayas. One ISKCON man called Vivekananda fake Hindu, but I still don't think Hindu unity is impossible. Yeah, we'll see. I think it's impossible. But yeah, Vivekananda being fake Hindu, that is ISKCON guru or sannyasi monk who got even kicked out from ISKCON, I think. he could have as well, he could have really portrayed that vision without being so crass about it. The entire problem was that he was crass about it, and he did not. His tone was a problem. Otherwise, he could have pretty well argued his case without being rude. That's the problem. I heard Puri Shankaracharya say the exact same thing, but much nicely, politely, with a calm voice. I've seen that clip or footage that's available on YouTube where Puri Shankaracharya ji is saying that the only reason Swami Vivekananda became famous is because he was against casteism. If you be against casteism and be Hindu, you will be famous everywhere. So in essence, he was saying the same thing. But he did not get that much controversy. কি নিয়ে কথা হচ্ছে? ব্রহ্মপুরাণ নিয়ে কথা হচ্ছে, but we are digressing a little. I'll get back to Brahmapuran very soon. Well, Arya Samaj don't worship Devdas at all. That they are doing is trying to convert our Dharma into Protestant religion. We get bombarded with so much of news every day. It's so much to keep up with. Everyone forgot about the teen boy killed by two who were molesting her sister. Yes. Just 2 days before Rakhi. Yes. আমি বড়াও নগরে থাকি. Oh, North Kolkata. And just like Protestants, Samajis are concerned more with criticizing others rather than exploring its own doctrines. Central and parts of North Kolkata, Salt Lake, Newtown has already become Muslim mohalla. It's वेल यूट्यूब पे लाइव स्ट्रीम क्यों नहीं करते सारे प्रोफेशनल के लेक्चर, ये तो मनी कास्टिज्म हो गया ना. और दूसरे को आईआईटी वाले, अच्छा आईआईटी वाले यूट्यूब पे लाइव स्ट्रीम क्यों नहीं करते सारे प्रोफेशनल के लेक्चर, ये तो मनी कास्टिज्म हो गया ना, और दूसरे को ब्लेम करते घूमते हैं. ओके, you bring up a great point, and I think it can be done from the institution as well. MIT and all, everyone has open courseware. MIT has such great professors teaching great courses. They have put up the entire thing for free on live. Harvard का computer science का basic का जो course है CS50, that's uploaded on Facebook every year for free. So even Abhijit Banerjee, his wife, the course for which they have two main books. Okay, their latest book, that's the book discussing their latest work which won them the Nobel Prize. The work they did just before that, they have that entire coursework on MIT from 8 years back. They have that for free on YouTube. MIT uploaded that entire course taught by Abhijit Banerjee and his wife Esther Duflo. But other than that, IIT wale jo ye karte hain, and that can be money casteism. Yes, that is why casteism or Varna Vyavastha in the end is always inevitable. It will always go on. Now, when people say that because it will always go on, casteism cannot be eradicated, I would have to disagree with that. Varna system, the inevitability of something called Varnas and different class divisions, that is an inevitable and eternal idea. By definition, that's a Sanatan principle, okay? That's a Sanatan occurring. And whatever is Sanatan does not really need a legal backing or a legal enforcement, right? Because it's Sanatan. It will always happen. Just because you make a law that rain can't fall doesn't mean that the rain will stop falling. Okay. Whatever is Sanatan does not need a legal enforcement. So for that, casteism and Varna Vyavastha does not need legal enforcement. If at all it was done, as in codifying into law what they were already seeing happening in society and therefore benefiting the society, which happens mostly anyway. That a musician's son becomes a musician because he has his father's knowledge or wisdom to gain from. A.R. Rahman's father was a very popular music arranger in the industry. Don't you think that A.R. Rahman benefited from it? Okay, so any profession, his son, his grandson, his great-great-grandson, daughter joining the same profession will always be beneficial for that family. But and therefore someone might think that, okay, now let's make this a law. And someone did make this a law. We accepted this to be a law in India. Birth-based casteism. But it should not be that way, because there are even better benefits to have if it's not the case. Because Varna system, different castes marrying amongst each other, people in general going to their father's profession, their parents' profession, will always anyway happen because it's a Sanatan principle, and it does not need legal backing, and it should not have legal backing. Because what if the child has other interests? And what if it wants to change its profession midway in its adult life? That should not be stopped, because that's incredibly beneficial to the society when someone is pursuing a particular profession and brings wisdom from a completely different profession, or a set of principles from a completely different profession, or a set of completely different work ethic from a different profession. Okay, that becomes hugely beneficial to the society, and therefore casteism should not be codified into law, and it's Sanatan anyway. Anything that's Sanatan does not need codification into law, even religious law for that matter. For example, let's say, so we have so many photographers and film directors who have come from an engineering background. Okay, why do you think that is? Okay, so many good photographers, good musicians, good even guitar players, good directors have come from the engineering background. Okay, why is that? Because the engineering academic department requires a certain kind of academic rigor and work ethic and discipline, that if you are just a casual artist forever, if you're not from a musician background and you are from an arts background and you become a musician, you are not usually familiar with that kind of an work ethic that a science kid has to go through. Okay, I'm saying this as an art student. Okay, so who benefits then? The society benefits because we have better photographers and better musicians, better film directors, because they brought the work ethic of the engineering sector to the arts line. Saurav Ganguly, Rahul Dravid, all these guys were the best students in their colleges or universities, which were the best in their town. Saurav Ganguly was a pass out of St. Xavier's College in Kolkata, which is pretty much the best college in Kolkata. Sanjeev Sanyal, same college, same university. Shashi Tharoor, same college in Kolkata only. Okay. So don't you think Saurav Ganguly has transferred some of his educational work ethic from St. Xavier's that went on to translate into cricket as well? So let's say, what some other examples can we give? Let's see, if a musician becomes a film director, like Satyajit Ray. Okay, he was a composer much before he started filmmaking. He knew Western theory, music theory inside out, and he later got into a lot of Eastern classical as well. When he makes a movie, he decides Pandit Ravi Shankar is going to do the background music. Who the fuck other than Satyajit Ray thought of these things? Okay, that was because he knew of music itself. So casteism should not be enforced. Otherwise, let's say Satyajit Ray would not have become a musician even. Okay, his father was a poet and writer. Even his grandfather was a poet and writer. Rabindranath Tagore used to come and hang out at his home. He has notes from Rabindranath Tagore when he was a kid saying that, yeah, grow up, best wishes to you, etc. Satyajit Ray all of a sudden decides that he will become a film director. And he brings in all the wisdom of literature from his family background, okay? And the music, all the music that he learned. And he infuses all that in his film direction. So you see, when you bring in wisdom from other professions, that profession gets enriched, okay? Because it's an outsider's perspective. Some cases, sometime or the other, occasionally an outsider's perspective becomes insanely valuable for a particular profession, and that will never happen if you keep a hardline caste system going on and legally enforced. And the other argument might be that since there is punarjanma, and if someone's born into a Brahmin caste today, they might have done something insanely great about that, great in their lives, in their past lives. I would say that if Brahmin caste generally means an intellectual or an educator class, then someone who is born into a family of educators and academics and professors, they might have done something great in their past lives, which is why their punarjanam led to being born in this family, like being born to Abhijit Banerjee or some sort. Unless there's a consensus about Vidya and Jnana being Vidya and Jnana of just Vedas and Upanishads and not everything else. But everything else, there's no knowledge that can come by bypassing Vedas, according to believers of Vedas themselves, right? So inherently, conversely, Jnana of anything, being an expert in anything means they are indirectly an expert in, not expert in Vedas, but they are expert in things that are mentioned or have their birthplaces in the Vedas only. So it could be argued that Jnana and Vidya of anything is Jnana and Vidya of some portions of Rig Veda. Therefore, any academic and any professor is a Brahmin. How do I connect with you? Is there a Discord server or so? No, you can message me on Instagram. I reply from time to time. Khidirpur, Metia Brews, Amtala. Yeah. Okay. Where did the comments go? Yeah. Khidirpur, Metia Brews. Why India people exposing themselves just before elections? What's your thinking? Stupidity. And also non-Hindu votes, leftist votes, Marxist votes, because they also hate Hinduism as much as Dayanidhi hates Hinduism. আমি থাকি সোনারপুরে, ও নাইস। আমার কলেজ বরানগর, আমার কলেজে গর্গ চ্যাটার্জি পড়ে। আগামী 10-15 বছরে তামিলনাড়ু দক্ষিণে হিন্দুত্বের কেল্লা হয়ে উঠবে। আই সি গ্রেট প্রেডিকশনস। Abhay Agarwal is saying in next 10-15 years Tamil Nadu will become a fort for Hinduism and Hindutva. That's why Bengali youth is less Hindu. In YouTube section, Bengali YouTube channel means Ranna Banna vlogs and comedy. Nobody wants to make informative videos like Vox Studio. There are countless answers to this question. First of all, what's celebrated in the culture? There's a general anti-religion or anti-Hindu sentiments that's cultivated in the culture, which started with our insane amounts of Islamization of Bengal. Okay, we have Bengali Hindus have lived under the thumb of evil Muslim kings for hundreds of years. Okay, hundreds of years, ever since Pal and Sen kingdoms went to hell. So for so many generations, these people know that no, you can't be a proud Hindu. Be anything else. Be anti-Hindu. Be soft-spoken, cute, subtle Hindu. Be pro-Muslim. Be pro-communism. There's just one thing you can't be in Bengal. That is too much of a proud Hindu who calls for Hindu conservation and fighting for Hinduism, etc. Other than that, everything's fine, and it's still better than Tamil Nadu. But and then CPIM comes to power. They also propagate this same fake history that Hinduism is all bad or weak. Either it's bad, it's so strong that it's bad, or it's so bad or it's bad because it's weak. Okay, it works both ways. Either we are so weak that we were so weak, so many kings invaded us. At the same time, Brahmins were so evil that they oppressed the entire Dalit community of India. Okay, it happens both ways. But these things have been propagated, so no one's really proud of their culture, etc. They don't know any history. They have not read Sanjeev Sanyal's book like I have. So when they grow up in these things, they have nothing to be proud of. There's a void in their hearts. It's going to be replaced by something. Human beings genetically cannot live without religion. Something or the other will always have the place of God in their hearts and minds. That will be either their inner conscience. For people who say they are spiritual, not religious, it means absolutely nothing if you are a Hindu. And or Karl Marx or someone else, someone or the other will be your God. Something or the other will be your religion, and it's just not Hinduism for most urban folk in Kolkata. But as for YouTube channel, etc., that will mostly come from the city of the state, right? Because the city has more prosperity. YouTube channel ke liye thoda bahut prosperity chahiye. So as Mofussil towns become more and more prosperous, and they decide that I'll be a YouTuber of some sort, and for that also we need about 10 years of economic prosperity. For all those things, we will have to wait. And then in Kolkata, it's all Ranna Banna, because there's another thing that's insanely irritating about urban Bengalis. That is their celebration of lad. Okay, laziness is celebrated in just, I think, one culture in the whole world. That's Bengal. So when someone says they want to conserve Bengali culture or want to save Bengali culture, okay, and it's under threat from non-Bengalis, I don't understand what they are trying to conserve. What part of Bengali culture is at threat? Whatever part of Bengali culture is at threat, it's at threat from non-Hindus. Hindus के साथ क्या threat है? I have not got a clear answer up till now. So yeah, Ranna Banna vlogs and comedy, yes, and their sense of humor is pretty bad as well. अबे तुम्हारे मुंह में घी शक्कर. And if someone thinks that those comedy pieces are funny, that shows that there has been a general insane amount of degradation of human intelligence and IQ, everything, and all that happens because of low economic prosperity. Okay, because see, Hrithik Ghatak said this. He's a famous Bengali film director. He had this famous line that practice thinking, and everyone just used that as a cool phrase to use, because you see, mankind, humans in general, will always treat something or the other like a religion, treat someone as the other as a god, and will treat something or the other as just a meaningless chant, and not internalize the phrase and think about it really deeply. So, let's say you do the Shivashtottara Shatanamavali every day, okay? If you don't visualize every name of Lord Shiva when you are doing that, it's not going to be that beneficial. You have to internalize each and every name, the concept behind each and every name, visualize that, imagine that, picture that, okay? You have to absolutely think of that particular concept in front of your eyes. And anyone who says that visualization does not bring good effects has absolutely probably never played a sport or has never achieved success in something. Because anyone who is successful in anything will tell you that they have visualized themselves as being successful in that particular field from since when they were kids, or for about 5-6 years before they actually achieved success in that. So visualization absolutely brings you benefits. So when you are doing a mantra jap, you are absolutely supposed to think and visualize about that as well. Unless it's generally meaningless chants, so-called meaningless. I mean, the words have no literal meaning, like in Tantra. In that case, you really want to be a Tantra Upasak. In that case, that it has a different philosophy, science, everything. And in that case, you have to give up your interpretive mind and thinking, and then just hope for the vibrations created by those words to bring some benefit to you. But other than that, any word that does have meaning, like in Shivashtottara Shatanamavali, for chanting those things, you absolutely have to visualize those words as well. But what Bengalis did with Ritik Ghatak is the same thing done by a Hindu who just chants the Shivashtottara Shatanamavali meaninglessly without conceptualizing those things. Which is, they then decided that Ritik Ghatak is our god, and this is our devotee chant, that bhaba, practice karo, okay? Practice thinking. Even though they never fucking thought anything themselves. How can someone think for 30 and 40 years, know the history of 1991, how Soviet Union crashed, and then come up with the idea that yes, communism is a great fucking thing. Socialism is great. They have posters of Stalin in their party offices, which means they have absolutely not thought about any fucking thing in 30 years, okay? But all of them are big fans of Ritik Ghatak, because Ritik Ghatak was a Marxist himself. Which means they just treated Ritik Ghatak like an unquestionable devta, jiska beej mantra hai, think, practice thinking. Okay? Now keep chanting that without actually thinking. Abhay, tumhare muh pe ghee shakkar. Ore baba, Gorgoda. Anybody heard the latest bombshell by J. Deepak? No. What is it? Let us know. In Bengaluru Bar Association? No. Could you explain what the farmer laws were about, as in policy-wise, and the protests against them too? There were a lot of things in the farmer laws, but mainly it was that the middleman would be cut out and farmers could sell their produce directly to government. But also, a lot of these wasteful subsidies would go away. Okay, we are giving them subsidy as if it's a famine going on in the country. Green Revolution was done because we did not have enough calories to even feed and make the population survive. Okay, that was the need of the hour back then. अभी हर खाने में इतना कैलोरी है, we are not in need of calories. Okay, we are in need of better proteins and vitamins. But what the farmers are creating and are cultivating are absolute bullshit crops with only empty calories and not much nutrition, which is why IQ is never going to go higher up with such low nutrition. We are just surviving. Okay, and all those crops take up huge amounts of water and electricity, which is given for free. Okay, if you really are producing something of value which is in demand in society, why the fuck do you need free electricity? Huh? If you need free electricity, that means your what product you are cultivating no one has any use of that, which is why so many tons of produce goes to waste everywhere. And then there's fake artificially constructed conjured up price fixations as well. But also, they are going to absolutely destroy the lands where these things are being cultivated, because it's taking out so much water. Okay, all the droughts that happen everywhere and the farmers kill themselves is going to come to Punjab also pretty soon. And the farm laws could have prevented all these things and would have actually enriched farmers. I'm telling you, all Kisan Netas, okay, arrest all Kisan Netas, put them in house arrest, give them pizza, burger, whatever, give them a great life, but in house arrest, and show them what their absence means to these farmers. You will see farmer prosperity rise like this. Okay. If BJP stays in power for 40 to 50 years, do you see a change in landmass of India? Landmass, maybe just Gilgit-Baltistan, not other landmass, unless you mean metaphorically. Metaphorically, yes, But BJP staying in power for 40-50 years will have to ensure we keep getting prime ministers like Himanta Biswa Sharma, Yogi Adityanath, Kian Malai. Thankfully, there's a great list. But if Kian Malai has to become PM, that means he has to be a great chief minister in Tamil Nadu, be re-elected for 2-3 terms. Yogi Adityanath has to really create UP as a proper prosperous state. His plans are great. It's progressing great. It's not that as of yet. So in that sense, maybe Himanta Biswa Sharma might be a better choice for prime minister after Modi retires. But the biggest fear of BJP remaining in power for 40-50 years would be that they would be also complacent as fuck. Okay, and it might be again filled up with absolute corrupt people. Abhi ground level corruption gaya hi nahi hai. And if BJP stays in power for 40-50 years, then those ground level people might have even more incentive to be corrupt. That क्या वोट तो हमको ही दोगे, तो हम रास्ते पे दादागिरी करते फिरेंगे. And when a party like BJP, if they become complacent in 40-50 years, that's when you will see the real bullshit happening. There will be all compensatory, overcompensatory, and band-aid laws, even more of all those things. Like, okay, see, our economic prosperity is kind of slowing down. So I will give a Hindu-only reservation or a Hindu-only stipend to everyone, okay? And that's going to slow down the economy even more. Like, okay, I'll come to that point later. And then maybe they will change the name of India to Bharat officially and sell that as a great achievement. See, we are such a great party that we are changing the name of Bharat. The name of Bharat should be changed right now when the prosperity is actually going. Otherwise, when it comes later, that will be to sell you some bullshit. Okay, or just to get you to vote for them and to have some sympathy for them, because that's a pretty significant achievement. At least, I mean, a symbolic achievement. But anyway, what I was going to say is that CPIM used to give out this. I think it was done by other political parties elsewhere in the country as well. Something called Bekar Bhata, okay, unemployment benefits, okay. So not only are you unemployed because of dumbass socialist policies and union bazi, on top of that, you get money for being unemployed. Where's that money coming from? From the little chunk of people, mainly the middle class, who are working their brains off. Okay, that's how stupid socialism and CPIM was. And socialism is that stupid. Trinamool is for the left of CPIM. And even Kobi Shuman said something like what Dayanidhi said about of Sanatan Dharma. Kobi Shuman, the musician of Trinamool, he joined Trinamool for a few days and then started criticizing Trinamool as well, because he is one of the most legendary musicians of West Bengal. But his opinion is that nobody is leftist enough. He criticized CPIM for not being leftist enough according to his taste. Then he started criticizing Trinamool the moment they came to power, because Trinamool was not leftist enough for him. But he had said something right before Trinamool came to power that if you see a CPIM party worker anywhere, kill them or beat them up, because one CPIM party worker dead is one CPIM party worker less. So that's a great thing. But all that he was saying, because he was, according to him, CPIM was not leftist enough. Tamil Nadu people identify more with their caste than their Hindu identity. Tamil Nadu is one of the most casteist state in India. Look up the caste-based violence that happens there regularly. Caste-based violence, what the fuck? Interesting. In these contexts, Tamil Nadu is worse than Bengal. Tejasvi Surya took back his statement endorsing Ghar Wapsi like a coward. BJP called Nupur Sharma a fringe element and suspended her. Tejasvi Surya, what did he say about Ghar Wapsi? Did he oppose Ghar Wapsi? Some anti-CA gal once said that there are so many countries who can give citizenship to Hindus, so what's the need of CA? She was ex-Muslim though. Yeah, that is why I say that ex-Muslims are not really a benefit to the Hindutva movement, except that we may have a little lesser numbers of pattharbaz on the street. But people who are becoming ex-Muslims are not pattharbaz themselves anyway. They come from more or less affluent backgrounds. So it's basically at the end they are just random atheists who will say that all religions are bad. But other than that, this problem can be solved only with discourse from intellectuals, debates, panel discussions, and YouTubers. That why Hindus? India is for Hindus. That can't be fixed with law. বরাহনগরের নামকরণ হয়েছে বোধহয় বরাহ অবতারের ওপর. Yeah, definitely. Well, he was suspended. Amogh Leela Prabhu. Yes, suspended. What is your views on economic policy? I used to be a capitalist, but I think socialism is a much stronger vessel to sell any social ideology. No, it's not. Capitalism, through capitalism, you can incentivize anything. See, why is wokeism on the rise? Wokeism is not on the rise because USA did socialism. Wokeism is on the rise because wokeism partnered with capitalism. So my views on economic policy is that we need to be much more of a free market. Closing down companies should be this easy. That okay, my company didn't work out, close it down immediately, start a new company. That way, that employment rate stays high all the time. But here Stalin has free speech and is a child who makes mistakes, and many endorse Stalin too. Yes, and this is why sunlight is the best disinfectant. You can see which people are endorsing Stalin. By that you'll have to remember them. किसी चीज़ का डॉक्यूमेंटेशन ही नहीं होगा अगर फ्री स्पीच नहीं हो तो. भालो पाकिस्तान के जितने साहाଯ୍य करो. हम आ भी कर दे तो हो जाते हैं बदनाम. वो कत्ल भी कर देते हैं. या तो चर्चा नहीं होती. Yes, and these we have to therefore do charcha. वाह क्या बात है. NPTEL exists, IIT courses exist online. I see. I'm from Salt Lake, have observed disturbing demographic changes in Kolkata public places, Salt Lake, Newtown, Rajarhat areas as well. I don't know about Salt Lake, Newtown, Rajarhat much because that's officially not Kolkata. But I went to Science City last year and I thought I was in Bangladesh basically, which was never the case when I used to go to Science City as a kid. Change is in your face, don't need stats. Almost 40% Muslims everywhere I went. It's volunteer work at Jaipur Dialogues. I don't think they want money, just your time to volunteer, and you can make impressive content with some of the great intellectuals like they said. No, I meant monetarily, I meant going to Jaipur in the middle of all my music programming commitments. Thoughts on Abhijit Chavra saying Sati is not real. I'll tell you a secret. The claim that Dr. Meenakshi Jain makes about Sati not being no one's saying that Sati is not real or it never happened or that the concept didn't exist. Everyone's saying that it was minuscule. It happened in certain parts of Rajasthan and even lesser sections of West Bengal. But even people in the history and sociology departments of presidency, they agree amongst each other that yes, Sati was not really prevalent. So they don't take the argument to the next step, which is that then what the fuck was Raja Ram Mohan Roy talking about? They don't do that obviously because that has other connotations. But you might end up guessing that then maybe Raja Ram Mohan Roy was a plant, was prop up by the British to say things that would only look good if it comes from a Hindu. Like J.S. Deepak says that why are most Communist Party of India members, the leading politicians, why are they all Brahmins? Because their anti-Hindu policies will be sellable only if it comes from a Brahmin. Okay, if a Dalit Communist Party of India chief minister says or does policies in favor of Muslims, then it's going to create an even bigger hullabaloo. So it's better that Buddhadev Bhattacharya remains the chief minister. So yeah. So anyway, Sati Sati existed, but it was never commonplace all across India. Well, Varna is not same as Jivika. Well, Varna is based on Jivika. Because Bana tells you that you can do the particular things. 4 good books on caste. 1, Varna, Jati, caste. 2, caste your caste away. Caste is not Hindu, caste as social capital. It was joined as a working model. When do you think Battle of 10 Kings happened? Before Ramayana or after Mahabharata or between two? No. Battle of 10 Kings is what I think it's based on. Ramayana and Mahabharata both are probably based on Battle of 10 Kings sometime or the other, 6,000, 7,000 years ago maybe. I do want to discuss this in detail with you, Dada, but it would be best face to face. What, Varna? Varna is not same as Jivika. Okay, if Varna is not same as Jivika, then it has even less relevance because then Varna is an absolutely abstract concept that has no real life implications. Maybe the works of Vedvir Arya will have your answer. Now, how right is Vedvir Arya? That needs questioning. Just because someone writes a thick book doesn't make it a great, correct set of ideals. Someone who is an equally, at least claims to be an expert, has to go through Vedvir Arya's work and then critique it and review it. Okay, then we can have our faith on Vedvir Arya. Which is why I do agree that we can end casteism totally. I see. Okay. I am saying that if Varna is really Jivika, then it can't be ended. It's a Sanatan principle. Shashi Tharoor studied in Kolkata. That's the news for me. Yes, he was a batchmate of Sanjeev Sanyal, I think. Battle of 10 Kings happened after Ramayana and Mahabharata, I think, and I think they were descendants of Raja Bharat और रघुवंशी कूला. नो, आई डोंट थिंक सो. सारे लेक्चर लाइव होने चाहिए क्योंकि आईआईटी में क्या क्या चलता है पता चले, क्या नया डिस्कस हो रहा पता चले. कोर्स में पता नहीं चलेगा, जैसे अभी कोर्ट लाइव स्ट्रीम कर रही पता चलता. There is an argument for live streaming everything that happens in any government institution because okay, why is education exclusivist to a certain extent that you have to prove yourself that you are qualified to hear this, right? So that you can cope with the other students, so that the teachers don't have to spend an entire extra attention to you, so that we can create best of the best of engineers and etc., doctors, everything from these institutions, so that we are not spending our time on the someone who was not even qualified to be there, maybe who got 60 on 100 in maths and ended up in IIT because of reservation, something like that. So that those things don't happen, education institutions will always be exclusivist to some degree, that you are not allowed to come, just like Vedas were not allowed for everyone, that you are not qualified for this, go out, get out. But what if someone is qualified but they just didn't give the exams? What if someone becomes qualified for that later on in their lives through their own hobby, research as a hobby? If studying different things is their hobby, okay, from that, what if they become deserving enough for that class? And what if they have a casual interest in it as a hobby, okay, and maybe they want to learn some aspects of it, and therefore look at one particular course and lecture from IIT Kharagpur on the YouTube and gain some benefit of that. Or what if someone just wants to revise a course work, okay, and he has different universities to look from. Maybe he's going inside the exam room, and 5 minutes before that he wants to check up something, a part of some lecture. What if he's not even from India, okay? Or what if he's from some random engineering institute? Why shouldn't he gain something from IIT lectures? Because they are government institutions. So I think everything must be free, uploaded for free on YouTube. Battle of King after Ramayana. Okay, Satyajit Ray was a great artist. Okay, let's get to Brahma Purana discussion. I agree with Gentle Lady. Let me discuss a little more of Brahma Purana again, then I'll come back to comments. Okay, next we come into Usha and Aniruddha. Vyasa said, Bana prostrated himself before the three-eyed one and said, O God, without any battles, I am disgusted with my 1,000 arms. Will there be any battle where my arms can taste success? Without a battle, what purpose do my arms have? Do my heavy arms serve? Shankara replied, O Bana, your standard will break, something that has never happened before. When that occurs, you will face a battle that will delight those who eat flesh. Happy, he bowed down to Shambhu and returned to his house. He saw that his standard had broken down and was filled with great delight. Meanwhile, using her knowledge and strength of yoga, Chitralekha, the excellent friend, brought Aniruddha there, where the maidens resided in the middle of the inner quarters. There, he pleasured himself with Usha. The guards got to know and went and told the king of the Daityas. The great-souled one commanded his servants and soldiers. However, using an iron beam, the slayer of enemy heroes killed them. When they were slain, Bana himself arrived there on his chariot, ready to kill him. But though he fought to the best of his capacity, he was defeated by the valiant one. Thereafter, he continued to fight using Maya. Using mantras, he invoked Pannagastra and bound the descendant of the Yadu lineage. Pannagastra means a weapon named after serpents, because Pannaga means serpents, so Pannaga Astra. There was speculation among the Yadus in Dwaravati. Where has Anuruddha gone? Narada told them that Bana had captured him. The Yadavas had already heard that a woman accomplished in knowledge had taken him away to Shonitapura. Therefore, they believed this. As soon as Hari remembered Garuda, he arrived. With Bala and Balarama and Pradyumna, he mounted and went to Bana's city. At the entry to the city, there was a fight with the extremely strong Pramathas. Destroying them, Hari was conveyed near Bana's city. For the sake of protecting Bana, Maheshwara Jvara, possessing 3 feet and 3 hands, fought with the wielder of the Sharanga bow. Okay, Maheshwara Jvara means Shiva's fever. Excuse me. Like fever is called bukhar in all non-Bengali languages of India, but in Bengali we still call it Jvara, Jor. Ja, Va and Ra. So Maheshwara Jvara meaning Shiva's fever caused by Shiva. As soon as those ashes touched Krishna's limbs, he experienced a great scorching. Baladeva also experienced this and closed his eyes. Thus he fought with the divinity who wields the Sharanga bow. Vaishnava Jvara, meaning Vishnu's fever caused by Vishnu, swiftly expelled him from Krishna's body. He was struck by blows from Narayana's arms. He was agitated and suffered. Seeing this, the god, the grandfather, exclaimed, "Let him be pardoned." Saying this, the illustrious Madhusudana dissolved Vaishnava Jvara within his own body. Men who remember the fight between you and me will be freed from fever. Meaning Maheshwara Jvara. Men who remember the fight between you, meaning Maheshwara Jvara, and me will be freed from fever. Saying this, Hari went away. After this, the illustrious one defeated the 5 fires and conveyed them to their destruction. The 5 fires or Agnis were fighting on Shiva's side. Depending on the context, there are different names for these 5 sacred fires. As if he was playing, Vishnu crushed the army of the Danavas. After this, the entire Daitya army, Shankara and Kartikeya, united with Bali's son to fight against Shauri. There was an extremely terrible clash between Hari and Shankara. All the worlds are agitated and suffered from the many kinds of Shastras and Astras. As the great encounter raged there, the gods thought, "It is certain that the destruction of the universe has arrived." Using Jrimbhanastra, a weapon that causes yawning, Jrimbhanastra, Govinda made Shankara yawn. After this, in every direction, the Daityas and the Pramathas were destroyed. Overwhelmed by the yawning, Hara sat down on his chariot. He was incapable of fighting with Krishna, whose deeds are unblemished. Guha's, meaning Kartikeya's, mount was mangled by Garuda. He himself suffered because of Pradyumna's weapon. Krishna's Humkara destroyed Guha's javelin and bow. In Bengali, we still use the word Hunkar. Shankara was destroyed because of the yawning. The wielder of the Sharanga bow vanquished the Daitya soldiers and Guha. After this, Bana arrived there so as to fight with the forces of Krishna's son, meaning Pradyumna. He was astride a giant chariot with the horses controlled by Nandisha, that is Nandi. The immensely valiant Balabhadra fought with many of Bana's soldiers. Without deviating from Dharma, Pradyumna pierced them with arrows. Bana saw that his forces were being dragged by the tip of the plough, powerfully uprooted by the club, and devastated by the arrows of the wielder of the chakra. Thereafter, there was a clash between Krishna and Bana. They shot blazing arrows at each other, piercing the bodies and the armor. Krishna used his arrow to slice down the arrows shot by Bana. Bana pierced Keshava. The wielder of the chakra pierced Bana. O Brahmanas, wishing to defeat each other, Bana and Krishna struck each other and wounded each other with weapons and clubs. All the extensive Shastras and Astras were severed and destroyed. After this, Hari made up his mind to kill Bana with the chakra. It was full of energy and was as resplendent as 100 suns. Hari, who used his chakra to slay Daityas, picked up his Sudarshana chakra so as to destroy Bana. Madhu's enemy was about to release the chakra. However, Kotari, the knowledge of the Daityas, appeared in front of Hari. Kotari or Kotavi is one of Durga's names in her naked form. The word means a naked woman. Kotari. Acha. She was naked. When Hari saw that she was in front of him, he closed his eyes. So as to slice off the arms of Bana, his enemy, he released Sudarshana. Released by Achyuta one by one, it sliced off Bana's arms. The chakra swiftly severed the Asura's arms, which had released Shastras and Astras. Thereafter, It returned to Madhusudana's hand and he wished to release it again, to destroy Bana. However, realizing this, Umapati, Uma's consort Shiva, who destroyed the city of Tripura, Umapati, the destroyer of Tripura, appeared before Govinda and placated him. He saw that the terrible Bana's arms had been severed and that blood was flowing from them. Rudra said, "O Krishna, O Jagannatha, O Krishna, I know that you are Purushottama. You are the Supreme Lord, the Paramatman. You are without a beginning and without an end. You are supreme. In your pastimes and your efforts to slay Daityas, you yourself assume embodied forms as gods, humans and inferior species. Please show me your favors. O Lord, I have granted Bana freedom from fear. You should not falsify the words that I have uttered. He has prospered because he sought refuge with me. O one without decay, it is not his fault. I am the one who conferred a boon on the Daitya. You should pardon him." Thus addressed, Govinda spoke to Umapati, the one who has the trident in his hand. His face was amiable and he had lost all intolerance towards the Asura. The illustrious one said, "O Shankara, since you have granted him a boon, let Bana remain alive. Out of deference to your words, I am withdrawing my chakra. You granting him freedom from fear is like me granting him freedom from fear." What a deep sentence. I need to underline this. You granting him freedom from fear is like me granting him freedom from fear. Okay? This kind of settles the ISKCON versus Shaivism debate. "Oh Shankara, you should not look on me as different from you. You, I and the entire universe with gods, asuras and humans are identical. Men who are confounded by ignorance see them as different." Saying this, Krishna went to the spot where Pradyumna's son was. The wind generated by Garuda destroyed the bonds the hooded ones had created. He made Aniruddha and his wife sit on Garuda. With Rama and Krishna's son, Damodara arrived in the city of Dwarka. So you see guys, we have kind of settled the debate, haven't we? Or Brahma Purana has at least settled the debate. You should not look on me as different from you. This is Krishna saying to Shiva. You, I and the entire universe with gods, asuras and humans are identical. Men who are confounded by ignorance see them as different. Okay, now back to questions in the live stream. Okay. Satyajit Ray was a great artist. He would draw the frames of his scenes on paper. Yes. Now, for an example to all, to prove that Varna is not Jivika. Okay. कोर्ट में पता चलता है कैसे काम करता है, इसलिए लाइव होना जरूरी है. एंड लाइव होना इसलिए भी ज़रूरी है क्योंकि यू सी दिस लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट प्रोसीडिंग्स इज सो बेनिफिशियल टू अपकमिंग फ्यूचर लॉयर्स. They get to see what kind of counters judge will give to you if you want to argue a case. They will see what sort of arguments, what sort of ways of argument are helping lawyers win cases. What mistakes are big lawyers even in Supreme Court are making, which is making them lose cases. This is a great educational situation for the society in general. Every Indian kid who's wanting to be a lawyer, who's doing his maybe first year in LLB, all of them benefit from these things. And the nerdy ones, okay, people who have a research bent of mind, who always like to, I'm not boasting about it really, but some people do have this sort of thinking. And I'm not boasting because I think people who don't take, approach music the way I do, even they are great musicians themselves, okay? But anyway, some people, like me, when they listen to a piece of music, they research every fucking thing about that artist, okay? What were their influences? Who is this? What other albums has this artist created? What were the albums created by those artists? What kind of upbringing did they have? And all that has benefited me. But there are some musicians also who just practice a lot, listen to music and spend all their time specifically in hard data sort of a way, which is that they create as many songs as possible. They practice every day, every minute and every hour. They don't spend as much time on research. But research benefits me, not doing research benefits them. Now, for the kids who do benefit from this research mindset, imagine the amount of benefit they are going to have from live streaming from Supreme Court, right? Which is why it's absolutely necessary that live streaming happens. And from all government institutions, where our taxpayers have basically funded these teachers already. So we don't need to pay them for streaming these things. What's your Insta ID, bro? My Insta ID is College Street, Kolkata only. You will see a map of Akhand Bharat, which was basically Chandragupta's empire. Kashipur has Muslim population along with Biharis, but they are Bihari Muslims as well. Some Bihari Hindu and Bihari Muslims. Did you see Article 370 hearing in Supreme Court? Absolutely amazing stuff coming up. Sibal getting frustrated. Yes. I've watched most of it, and it's going on. How long is it going to go on, man? I watched it for 2-3 days, and I thought it's going to go on for 2-3 days. अरे हर सुबह उठ के देख रहा हूँ कि आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फिर लाइव स्ट्रीम चल रहा है 370 का. The chief opponent of Ram Mohan Roy was Raja Radhakanto Deb of Dharma Sabha. Yeah. Best Sanskrit scholar of those times. Yes, I've heard of him. Wrote Shabdakalpa Dhrum. Okay. Was a Shudra by Varna. Revered by Pandits. Holy shit. Yes. This is one thing everyone will have to remember, which is why I'm sympathetic to even trads who are very pro casteism. I want them to have a conversation in my platform as well, because I don't get pissed off with them that easily. But better us debate and hash out our differences here than wait for someone to be pro their policies and make a law out of that with which we don't agree. First, let us talk amongst each other why exactly we agree or disagree with a particular viewpoint, right? But ये जो सिचुएशन का एग्जाम्पल दिया जा रहा है यहाँ पे कि राधाकांत देव who was a Shudra who was revered by Pandits in Bengal. Now, why is that happening? When someone says that people who are not Brahmins are allowed to study or preach Vedas, first of all, there's a qualification issue that you are not qualified to get into a PhD classroom, then therefore you won't be allowed in a PhD classroom. That's as simple as that. But other than that, how much were they going around persecuting people who actively really wanted to read and write Sanskrit or Vedas? First thing you'll have to remember is that no one really had the time. It's not like it's a big economic prosperity के कोई on the side एक यूट्यूबर भी बन रहा है, म्यूजिशियन भी बन रहा है. ये सब नहीं होता है प्री इंडस्ट्रियलाइज सोसाइटी में. अगर तुम्हारा बाप शूद्रा है और उसको कुछ सुबह जाके कुछ यहाँ वहाँ क्लीन अप करना है, तो तुमको वही करना पड़ेगा, पूरा दिन तुमको वही करना पड़ेगा तुम जब बड़े होगे. तुम्हारा कोई हॉबी का कुछ टाइम नहीं है, because even transportation भी नहीं है. Okay, you go get up on a bullock cart or a chariot, you walk faster than that fucking thing. So time is a huge constraint here. So when are you even going to gather the time to read Sanskrit and then learn Vedas? So it was not allowed in a sense for people who are not qualified, but was there really active persecution for someone who really ended up studying? There I don't think we have enough evidence to say that or claim that. Like whenever a Shudra or a non-Brahmin does end up being an expert, they are respected anyway. That's what needs to be always remembered. Okay. Bengal needs to revive the spirits of Sri Aurobindo, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, Rani Chaudhurani, Bhavani Pathak. Yes. And Sri Aurobindo's teachings need to be freed from Aurobindo Institute. Also Bidyasagar, right? I mean, he was all about developing Hindu society. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Brahma. Yes. Dupure Ghumono. Okay, I have faced subtle Hindu phobia from Hindus. My relatives at times talk weirdly to my ma because she is pure veg and devout Krishna worshipper. Yeah. They are always seen as the funny, cute person in every family. That you believe in gods. You do pujas, bro. I only worship Karl Marx. When I told about what I learned from Gita and parts of Vedas, my teachers told me, "Eshab keno? Shudu sadhu abe naki?" That's a story in every household, every atheist setting that you go to. Only threat faced from non-Bengali is being called Bangladeshi scum while you are a Bengali from Mofoshalia. Now, you always have to, any criticism or even these random meaningless harassments that you face, if that's a sort of a gali given to you in front of your face, I think it should go on to a physical fist fight. If it's on social media, that means they already are hiding behind a fake name or fake ID anyway. But even then, you should just call them some random fucking thing that you don't even believe in. I am a big believer in using offensive words which you don't even think are offensive words personally. Like calling someone a prostitute. I'm perfectly fine with legal prostitution. But I will call someone prostitute or a woman prostitute just because I want to offend them. ऑफेंसिव वर्ड नाम है उसका, ऑफेंसिव वर्ड में रेस्पेक्ट का कोई चीज़ कोई जगह नहीं है, तो यूज गालीज टू काउंटर दीज थिंग्स एनीवे. बट ऑल्सो do have a certain degree of contemplation as well, that what is making him say those things. Okay, these things have not come up randomly, we have not conjured these things, right? Okay, like nothing happens without any, no smoke is created without any fire, right? If why is there a strain of a certain degree of fear, hatred, anger, everything against Muslims today? Why is it that really, even though Hindus have always been secular, liberal, etc., Hindus have voted for commies, seculars, liberals, okay, फिर भी ये एक strain of resistance towards Muslims ये कैसे रह गया, क्यों रह गया, जो कि और किसी religion के साथ नहीं हुआ? Because they are making some mistakes. No, if every Indian Muslim was A.R. Rahman, okay, would we really have these problems? Would we need to be pro-Hindutva? J.S. Deepak himself has said in his podcast with Smita Prakash that what is the importance of Hindutva? Hindutva is a wartime strategy. When we are not in a wartime strategy or wartime mode, we don't need Hindutva. अभी चाहिए हिंदुत्व. तो हर इंडियन, हमको ये सिखाने का ज़रूरत ही नहीं है कि नो नॉट ऑल मुस्लिम्स आर गुड. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट हाउ मेनी मुस्लिम्स आर गुड वर्सेस हाउ मेनी मुस्लिम्स आर बैड. ओके, इफ एवरी इंडियन मुस्लिम वाज A.R. Rahman, we would not have to do any of these fucking things. I would not need to create a YouTube channel. I would still happily do just my music and look up YouTube videos on free market, etc. Maybe I would have a YouTube channel just to discuss free market policies. Then I would not go around reading my Hindu scriptures, because Hindu scriptures का जो ethos है वो ethos हमारे अंदर वैसे भी घुस गया है. Okay, so without even Hindu scriptural ethos, we were being secular liberal anyway. We were not getting the direct wisdom that we needed because of not reading Hindu scriptures. But the niceness of our society was going on anyway. हमको ये सब change करना क्यों पड़ रहा है? Because not every Indian Muslim is A.R. Rahman. When some Muslims are saying we can't even utter the words Vande Mataram, A.R. Rahman is making a song called Vande Mataram. And it's almost looked upon as the unofficial national anthem of the country. So when he's making the music of Roja, his first movie, okay, he's 25 years old. When he's doing that song, that Bharat हमको जान से प्यारा है, okay, in Bharat हमको जान से प्यारा है, the Antara section, that section which is showing the brutality and viciousness of the terrorists, there what is the scene? First of all, that the Indian flag is on fire and the hero is so pissed off that he is immediately going there and jumping on the flag. His hands are still tied up and he has to blow out the fire. He cannot accept the visuals of his Indian flag burning in front of him. Okay, he is blowing that out with his own body. And the composer is Muslim. Now, that section, that section is actually inspired from the Pakistani national anthem. And I think it was a conscious decision. Maybe Maniratnam told A.R. Rahman himself, listen to the Pakistan national anthem. It's actually a great Western classical composition. There's not an ounce of Sufi influence in it. It's a completely beautiful Western classical composition. And if you see the one line is repeated, okay? The same lyrics are repeated in the next line as a different melody. The first line, when it's sung for the first time, it's a different melody. When it's sung again, it's in a different melody. Second time का जो melody है, that melody is similar to the वो वाला section. Okay, so I think A.R. Rahman was directly trolling Pakistan, indirectly trolling Pakistan when he was composing that section. So if all Indian Muslims were like that, who would we have a problem with? So only threat faced from non-Bengali is being called Bangladeshi. So yeah, so what contemplation do we need? Most Bengalis are pro-Bangladeshi and against Hindus. There are a lot of Bangladeshi illegal immigrants all around the country. So the legal Bangladeshi, the legal Bengali Indian Hindu who is actually pro-Hindu is a minuscule minority. At least the ones that really go outside the state. What they are seeing all the time on Twitter, etc. Okay, they are seeing only anti-Hindu commie people who are saying that I am a practicing Hindu because I took a reel on Ashtami, Instagram reel on Ashtami. or they are seeing illegal Bangladeshi migrant workers in their home states. So you have to treat their views with a bit of sympathy, I think. But गाली दो, मुंह पे गाली ही दो, but खुद भी सोचो कि ये भी तो चेंज करना ही है ना. Dravidian ideology is filled with hatred, misogynist to the core, founded by Christian missionary and Robert Caldwell, I guess. Propagated by pervert Periyar. It's just that social media made us aware of it as media was controlled. Yes. It's actually illegal. Illegal what? What is illegal? This happens because our knowledge of Sanskrit declined. Yes, our Sanskrit mantras have become ornamental. Right. That should not be the case. I love to listen to Kirtan, sing stotras, and I'm comfortable to do that publicly as well. When I play those doing assignments in classroom, friends say, "Ekhono onek pap kora baki ache, ekhoni eshab ken?" Yes, and I'm great that you can do that. I am not that brave because it will be such a big, gigantic cultural shock to my family. I'm not doing that as of now. But also, we don't practice any of the sadharana dharma. Yeah. When I say I aspire to live a dharmic, sattvic life, I've been asked to live with the times as in Kali Yuga. On top of it, we are being educated in English medium schools, which has restricted our knowledge of mother tongues, which are closer to Sanskrit. Here I kind of disagree with you and even people in general, but I know you are right numerically. Most people who study in English medium schools do come out with almost no knowledge of their mother tongue. But you see, since that was not the case with me, I kind of think it's still up to the parents a little. Both my parents were working, okay? It's not like my mom was a housewife and therefore she was feeding me all Bengali language in my head, no. Both my parents were working. I studied in English schools right from class 3. Up until class 2, I studied in a Bengali medium school. But then I studied for 3.5 years in a Scottish Presbyterian school, then English medium again. So my Bengali is still pretty good. And I don't have to ask for the English translation of even random Bengali numbers. My friends say, "Pochattor, what's that? Tell me the English." So my Bengali is above average compared to all other English medium educated kids. But I don't know why is that. Why didn't the English medium school I studied in, why weren't they able to take out the Bengaliness out of my head? So that's the credit of my parents. Did you see Cogito channel's video on Bengalis? It was an interesting video. Yeah, it's been coming up on my suggestions. I haven't seen it yet. Dada, how to argue effectively for acquiring arms for self? Any channels you know? Acquiring arms, for that though, you need laws first of all. Your law says that it has to be made difficult for you. In most cases, you will have to end up suing the district magistrate. You will have to write a letter to the district magistrate asking for it. He will reject it. Then you will have to hire a lawyer and sue him. Ke bhai kahe nahi diya? After that, he will probably give you. Only way you will get it easily is if you have someone in your family from an army background. They have to vouch for you, or a politician. If you found these two connections, then you will get a gun, no problem. But when there's a riot in your city or your town or in your village, you'll have to give that gun to your police. Interesting. Dada, how? Okay. I posted Vande Mataram video on Mahalaya and Janmashtami on my YouTube. Some said it's too much Hindutva. Yes, he said Hindutva, not even Hindu. At least he knows my future plans with my YouTube and literature. Yeah, that's one funny thing. The visual symbols really irk people. I know some people in Bengal who are really fed up of the Pattharbaz, okay? They are saying that why are these people doing these things? Then I say yes, and that all that will change when Yogi Adityanath becomes PM. And immediately they say, no, Yogi is a little too much. What is that too much? What gigantic illegal dictatorship thing is Yogi doing? No, it's his Hindu symbols that irks them visually. There's a bunch of layers of coloniality as well that has come here, which is why I think when Kushal Mehra, Vijay Mitra criticized coloniality or decoloniality, I don't understand what they are criticizing exactly, because they have a decolonial frame of mind, and coloniality means taking out the British layer filter of looking at things, okay, or the Western filter. Other than that, you can agree or disagree with J. Sai Deepak on some things. J. Sai Deepak is not decoloniality. He propagated decoloniality. Okay, he popularized it. So use decoloniality to your own benefits and to your own decolonize your own viewpoints. Okay, so because I have read about coloniality and decoloniality, I notice, I know what's the problem here when someone says, I know many Hindu friends, even from devout Hindu backgrounds, much more devout Hindu backgrounds than mine, because mine was communist family. They say a temple, or when they go near or inside a temple, it gives them sort of a dark, negative vibe. And when they see anyone with a tilak, again, it's a dark, evil, sadhu vibes. And why has that come in their brains, come in their minds? That's 100% because of Bollywood, right? Bollywood or even Bengali movies. Bengali में common term है bhondo sadhu, okay? Or in Hindi, what would be the ideal term? Something like that fake sadhu who goes around duping people, okay? Bhondo Baba, Bhondo Sadhu, or the fake sadhus, that has been portrayed all the time in Bengali movie industry and in Hindi movie industry. Or either they are duping you of your money, or they are stupid people who just say Om Namah Shivaya 100 times in the day and can't react to things like a normal person, or they are actually evil people. When they see Yogi Adityanath, what they visualize in their mind is the guy from Ashutosh Rana from what was that movie which was plagiarized from was an adaptation from Silence of the Lambs, okay, Akshay Kumar, and he's doing that kind of thing comes to their mind. So that's the huge layer of coloniality, and you have to consciously know about decoloniality and coloniality so that you can actually not think of these things in that way. Otherwise they will just keep thinking, oh, maybe it's the fault of Hinduism itself, maybe it's the structure, maybe it's the fault of the temple itself, it's built that way, therefore I get a dark vibe from it. Arey, you get a dark vibe because of the movies you've been watching. That's coloniality in action. Hello guys and gals, Rashti, hi. এটাকে বলে চরম ল্যাদ, বেকার ভাতা. Yes, universal basic income. You get incentivized to not work. I don't think he was correct in showing Hindu-Muslim violence as a class conflict. Seems Marxist. Poor Hindus did not kill rich Hindus, and Muslims killed poor Hindus too. Imagine state elections and Lok Sabha elections are gonna be held together. It's gonna be fun. I absolutely love that. It's going to be really fucking great because no one's going to have enough gundas to beat up other people. यूएन में अभी तक एब्राहम रिलीजन्स को प्रोटेक्शन दे रहा है, तो हिंदू, बुद्धिस्ट, जैन ये सब को नहीं मान रहा. कोई कारण क्या है? नहीं, ये तो यूएन खुद एब्राहमिक रिलीजियस हो गया है. आई डोंट थिंक यूएन इज प्रोटेक्टिंग क्रिश्चियनिटी in any direct overt way. The only thing they have done is say that only Islamophobia is a big problem, no other phobia of any other religion is a big problem. So you could say they are being pro-Muslim, not really pro-Abrahamic, because they don't have extra love for Christianity or Judaism, not overtly at least. Maybe indirectly they end up doing things because of the Jewish lobby or the Christian lobby. Okay. Overtly सिर्फ ये एक ही काम किया है, which is they have said that Islamophobia is a separately bad thing. Tejasvi endorsed Ghar Wapsi, saying that to keep democracy and Indian culture, Hindus need to be in majority, thus Ghar Wapsi is necessary. But after attacks, he took back his statement and apologized. क्या अजीब बात. Read Dr. Meenakshi Jain books. Read Dr. Meenakshi Jain books on Sati. She has documented the total number of Sati in India, which comes down to about 1.5 people a year over 3,000 years again. Dr. Jain has documented this, no one else did. Yes, and that is the consensus in even liberal academic circles. They just won't come out and say it because then Hindutwadis get extra brownie points. No, that's why. Which is that historian who wrote that Sacred Geography naam ka book? She delayed the publication of that book because she said that no, this will benefit the Hindutwadi terrorists, fascists. That's why I'm not going to release my fucking book. Even though the Hindutva fascists, so-called Hindutva fascists, agree with your own argument. They are Hindutva because of that entire argument you are making in your book. So that's how stupid they are or crazy they are. So that's the same with Rajaram, the Sati question, even among educated circles. The only people who think that Sati was prevalent everywhere, हर जगह पे कोई widow को जलाते फिर रहा था, that's people who have done only graduation and then dropped out. People who have done masters and PhD and all, they know the real shit. I have her Sati book, nice book. 60 on 100 hole reservation IIT hobe na. Yes, that was hyperbole. It is a very good book and a smack on the face of Liberando historians. Being from the community, reservation is worse for the hundreds of SC/ST students who end up leaving IIT and reach a point where they can't join any other good college. Bro, this has been word for word argued by Thomas Sowell years back. Okay, because this is the exact same problem blacks face in USA. Okay, ब्लैक लोगों का ड्रॉप आउट रेट आर्टिफिशियली हाई रहता है इस वजह से. ओके, maybe a black guy is qualified for a community college or a let's say some local Ralston college or something like that, but they get into Harvard, they can't cope. Now when they are dropping out, all their education loan वगैरह सब ले लिया, and they think that I'm a dropout, and then that entire mindset becomes that I'm not cut out for education, academics, I can't be good in studies. Whereas he would have been perfectly fine if he studied in a community college, then did masters, then got into PhD programs in some better Ivy League university. Even if you don't get into Ivy League PhD programs, तो क्या हुआ, सबको Ivy League ही जाना है, ये किसने बोल दिया? Okay, Milton Friedman was in University of Chicago, Thomas Sowell was in University of Chicago. तो ये लोग हार्वर्ड में नहीं गए तो क्या हो गया? तो the problem that you are pointing out is the exact same problem being faced by blacks in America. So the policy is same, the outcomes are same, मगर एबॉलिश कोई नहीं करेगा. अब तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने एबॉलिश कर दिया है यूएसए में, हमारा देखते हैं. जीविका इज एन एडिशन टू दैट आचारा, बट सिंस जीविका इज टू देशकाला परिच्छेदा डिपेंडेंट, वन कैन चेंज देयर जीविका बट स्टिल कंटिन्यू वर्ना. Usha kidnaps grandson of Krishna to marry, and Krishna fights with Shiva, who is protecting Bana. I guess Shiva only. Kannada 2, Jwara is fever. I see. Jwara is also used in Malayalam. I see. Those people, southern Indians have protected the Sanskritness of their languages to a larger extent. Bukhar. This place, Shonitpur, is now in Saharanpur, which have Bhima Kali, one of 51 Shaktipeeth. I see. कौन सा Saharanpur? There's one Saharanpur in Himachal Pradesh as well, right? Jwara is fever in proper Hindi too. I see. This is why Sanskrit should be national language. Yes, it should be. ACP Pradyumna. In Malayalam, there is a movie named Premam. Any Hindi-speaking person understand the meaning of the name? Yes. Jivika is Deshakala Paricheda. Okay, so Jivika is Deshakala Paricheda, but if you take it away from Varna, what does that imply then? You are Brahmin in name only, but you are a rickshaw puller. Then what does being Brahmin signify then? Okay, what are you supposed to do, or what benefits do you get, or mainly duties? What are your duties? What are your responsibilities as a Brahmin? So are you supposed to pull a rickshaw and go home and do Panchamaha Yagyas at home? Or that's only for the Brahmacharya phase, I forgot. But anyway, do all the priestly things. Are you supposed to do that? Or a Brahmin is just a Brahmin in name only, and he gets some extra respect, but rides a rickshaw, pulls a rickshaw, and does nothing else Brahmin-like. Then that's the place of Varna then, if it's really divorced from Jivika. Hari or Har ek hi hai. Do you remember the Amish's explanation in the first Shiva trilogy book? Of course, he was trying to, he knows all these things. He does not need to be taught. His father is a Purohit himself. But he had come up with a great version of it. He was trying to make it like as if it was something different years ago, and then the meaning got distorted into something different today. He was saying that, he has said in the story that Har Mahadev means there's Mahadev in everyone. So everyone, Har Mahadev, everyone is Mahadev. Therefore everyone started shouting Har Mahadev. Oh, Rutvik, thanks for the donation. Realize we an incompetent movement when I see such source material. What do you think of starting a decade-long Hindutva-oriented folk metal projects? That's a great idea. Artists have to come and take up some daitva. Actually, I'm being self-critical here. I need to do more. An example, Chinna Bomma Nayaka in his Vijay Stambha, Kadappa, says, destroyer of Turushkas born from the feet of Purusha, of which Brahmins only drink the nectar. If you two are identical, Krishna and Shiva, why are you fighting a moment ago? Now blame it on people's ignorance. They were fighting for a different reason. They were fighting and then decided that चलो we are the same only. क्या है? बंद करो झगड़ा. When I see such source material, अच्छा Rutvik, what were you talking about? Which source material? Now blame it on people's ignorance. Referring to his Varna or Shudra from Purusha Shukta. Okay, here to learn. This is the Yoga Maya where Shiva appears to be defeated, Linga Purana. Can you explain music genres? I can't differentiate one from another. What is normal Bengali music called? Have you listened to Pranam Band? Yeah, I have listened to Pranam Band. I shared it long time ago before you became a subscriber. Pranam is basically a alt-rock band. And what is normally Bengali music called? Depends on what is normal Bengali music to you, okay? For me, Fossils would be normal Bengali music, but that's purely hard rock. And what for a long time was called Bengali normal music is called Bangla Adhunik Gan, which means modern Bengali music. Now वो आधुनिक नाम उसका रह गया, मगर वो तो आज के दिन में आधुनिक नहीं है. तो कोई अगर हारमोनियम लेके बैठ के रविंद्र संगीत या और नजरुल लाइक सॉन्ग्स बनाता है, that used to be called Bangla Adhunik Gan. That was considered the normal Bengali music. So what is normal Bengali music depends on which music you are talking about. Otherwise there's nothing really Bengali originally or normal Bengali music other than Horibol chants of Vaishnava people, okay? But as for names of genres, that's absolutely not important. That's important only if you're taking the scholarly approach to it. Okay, that okay. So this is rock. If this is rock, where did this genre come from? How? Okay, so blues inspired rock. Interesting. So you'll understand then that okay, so how inspirations happen and different genres are created. For that scholarly research approach, you need to know the name of genres. But other than that, you don't need to. For the example I was giving, for people I know who don't give a shit about research or even names of genres, they will listen to rock music and listen to how great the melody is, how great the guitar is being played. Or when they listen to classical music, they will listen to how great the sitar is being played. Okay, genre names are not that important. Have you heard Baul Shangit? Yes. I have heard and I like almost every kind of music. The only genre I dislike is Latin American folk music. I don't know why. There's absolutely no reason. Something just irritates me and bores me when I listen to South American folk music. Everything other than that I like. Why so much Maya? It's confusing. Bana was not enlightened, which is why he thought Shiva different from Krishna. Okay. Love from Siliguri, yes. Due to avidya of Bana, where he thinks Shiva and Krishna are different and therefore will fight for him. Okay. Raja Radhakanta Dev opposed widow remarriage movement of Vidyasagar. I see. Why? Interesting. Here to learn. He was not opposed. His only position was always that British administration should not interfere in our laws. Okay, so this was kind of a J.S.I. Deepak position. Raja Radhakanta Dev's Sabha Pandits were opposing the remarriage proposition of Vidyasagar. I see. A.R. Rahman was Dilip before he converted with his mother, yes. Is the Manusmriti discussion finished? Yeah, long time. Abhay, ki kora jai jagge. I need to know more than. If Bangladeshis were like their national poet Kazi Nazrul, who even got arrested for Anandamoyi Agomane, they wouldn't be a different country. Yes, but also Kazi Nazrul Islam, remember, did write a poem on Islamic Jihad. Parents and surroundings have a role to play in keeping your mother tongue knowledge intact. However, that plays a small role against an entire system which incentivizes English over mother tongues. Now, for me also it was incentivized, right? I quit. I read all Bengali storybooks, then all English storybooks, etc. I had an incentive because I was listening to English music only all the while. But I don't know. I have always thought I used to be a staunch, proud Bengali, that kind of thing, because I was getting beaten up for being Bengali in front of Nepalis. Maybe that's why I had an extra liking for Bengali. Maybe because I was a minority as a Bengali in my own state. That's what made me more look at conserving Bengali language more importantly. I was not allowed to become complacent with my culture. Maybe that's why it got stuck with me. Entire system which incentivizes. Okay. Didn't Ram kill Shambhuka for being a Shudra performing tapa? Okay. Saptarshi and Odin needs to answer these things. Here to learn, answer him. Pakhandi Sadhu. Yes, Pakhandi Baba. Everywhere. Having a gun is more legal hassle than it's worth. And Shiv save you if you have to use it. Better keep scary dogs and crossbow type of things. No. Guns will also be great. If you do have to use it, you have to use it because other people also have guns, right? But even then, if someone's attacking you with a sword on the day of a riot, you have to show them that bhag bhosri ke. Arnab, not tapasya, but he was trying to enter Svarga Sasharira, which is prohibited regardless of your Varna. Your answer is available in detail on Veducation. Also, the book Caste Your Castaway also has the explanation. Arigato. This theme again comes in life of Adi Shankaracharya when a Kapalika tries the same. Okay, need to read more in detail then. Yeah. Hindu sculpture and symbols have been stereotyped badly by our media movies. Yes. Insane. One nation, one election isn't going to happen since it requires 2/3 majority in both houses. Dianac was the author, I think. Yeah, probably. I mix up between Michel Danino and Dianac. Probably Dianac. Dianac was sacred geography, yeah. He killed Shambhuka because Shambhuka's intentions were wrong. There are mention of so many Shudras and Vaishyas who had knowledge in yoga and even Vedas, but Shambhuka part is important. Okay, Thomas Sowell is the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. Yes. Do you agree more with Dvaita or Advaita Vedanta? Lol, her is a Persian origin word. I see. Yeah, if her means everyone. Okay, this question I'm not going to be able to answer as of yet. Because I did not even know that there are different things like Advaita and Dvaita until about 1 year back. Okay, so I'm just learning about these things. So I'll learn all those things a little more and then conclude. And at least this 3-volume ये जो लाल book का series है, History of Indian Philosophy, which we will start after Brahma Puran. After I'm done reading all that, then I'll conclude. But so far I'm reading Sri Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, where Bhairava is saying that I've made all these sampradayas for people to fight amongst each other, for stupid people to fight amongst each other. The intelligent ones will directly know who to worship, okay? Then Bhairava is saying with a very looking down like of a tone about Sakara worship. He's saying, what is Sakara worship? Why? It's only for fooling kids or for teaching children, okay? Everything else is Nirakara. Being Brahmin means one who does specific acharas, sandhya, vandana, yagyas, etc., but may not be having a great job. Example, many Bhumihar Brahmins of Bihar. Yeah, of course. So then today, who is a Brahmin then? If a Brahmin is a rickshaw puller and is not doing the yogas even, then who? In name of Shiva, it is from Haran to take, I believe. I see. Join heated debates team. I was referring to the Brahma Purana when I typed in the super chat. Oh, okay. So you were saying that Brahma Purana is when we realize we are an incompetent movement when I see such source material. Oh yeah, you were saying that we are so incompetent even when there is Brahma Purana. Great books like Brahma Purana, I guess. I was referring to Brahma Purana files. Yeah, it means take away the sorrows of Mahadeva. Okay, Haran karo. एक के सिनारियोज ही किसी भी तरह कम्युनिज्म और इस्लामिक स्टेट भारत बना देते हैं फ्यूचर में, तो हमें हमारी इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी के सबूत कैसे बचाना है, जैसे नालंदा को जला दिया था. या even if India becomes an Islamic state, which I don't think is going to happen, they will have to shut down the entire internet to stop the inflow of all the Hindu knowledge. Now it's gone. The cat is out of the bag. Hindu knowledge will never be hidden ever again. And before we used to have all the only oral narration customs, right? That got replaced with documents, and the documents got burned down, and the people who were narrating those things also got killed. That's why we lost a lot of wisdom and teachings, and the entire Shaivite culture of Bengal disappeared one fine morning. Not one fine morning, at least gradually. But I don't think it's going to happen ever again. And you could kind of credit the British for saving our music, at least. Okay, all our culture, all our religious teachings, custom-based cultural teachings were gone. Religious, spiritual, ritualistic teachings were gone. A lot of it, but still our most of our music got saved because documentation, paperwork, making a song. These things came after the British tried to take interest in things that were not theirs as well. They have this. They've always had this interest in other things, which is why they end up screwing things up and then appropriating and plagiarizing things, taking away and not giving credit. Like everyone knows concepts of Sri Aurobindo and even Lord Shiva, concepts of Lord Shiva, without giving credit to those things or even consciously knowing that these are all Hindu concepts. Okay, everything that Sri Aurobindo says, most white liberals in California knows these things, but they don't know that it's coming from Hinduism or coming from Sri Aurobindo. These sorts of things have happened because of the British. But conversely, they did take an interest in cultures other than their cultures as well, which is why you'll always see now people are complaining that why are people being portrayed in a bad light, or a slave is being portrayed in a bad light in their paintings. He was creating paintings in the first place. Okay, otherwise other cultures were not much into portraying other cultures. Like we don't even have any mention of Chandragupta Maurya. It's from Sendrokotas, from Greek sources that we came to know of him. So we have always been pretty bad at documenting because we were, I think, complacent. And that complacency was a result of our beautiful Shashya Shamala, nature, climate, earth, everything. But our music got saved. That is a pretty big thing. We usually had just improvisational classical music, ragas, and just one lead melody, singing devotions and the names of the gods. We started creating songs as such, where there's a fixed composition which will be repeated based on the notations that have been given. These things happened after the 1700s. Mainly started with Tyagaraja and all. Although even Purandara Dasaru made countless songs. So you could argue it started in the 1500s, 1600s itself. But it became mainstream. The idea of a song, like it's mainstream today, that you're a musician, that means you make songs. That these concepts became mainstream only in the 1700s and kind of because of the British. AK scenarios, some left media in 2019 took this Harar Mahadev, meaning everyone is Mahadev, to criticize Modi fighting election from Banaras, meaning Modi thinks he is God. Even Amish said it. नालंदा कोई बैक प्लेन नहीं था, हमें पूरा नॉलेज नहीं मिला, तो अभी आज भी जो हमारे पास है उसके लिए कुछ प्रोटेक्शन के लिए करना होगा 1000 साल बाद वाले के लिए. अब तो सब क्लाउड में होगा, इंटरनेट में होगा. Rabindranath had a similar opinion on child marriage. He was against it despite marrying 10-year-old, but did not want British to ban it due to Swaraj movement. Even Meghnad Shah, Sri Aurobindo, all of them had child marriages only. They were so stupid to basically say fighting from Banaras endorses sari, which is patriarchal and hence everything is Hindu festival. What the fuck? Sri Aurobindo's married life was pretty sad. He married and then decided, I'm going to be a revolutionary and a saint. So she did not remarry and stuff. She settled down in Shillong at the end of her life and forever just lived in a lonely phase and missing Sri Aurobindo for her entire life. And even Sri Aurobindo was a little regretful even about the decision. But she had a pretty sad life, his wife. Okay. Yes, that's the thing. If you have reading habit, then it's very difficult to take out the language from you, right? Nowadays, mostly students don't bother reading outside their syllabus. Yeah, reading habit was kind of dead in 90s only, okay, early 90s. J.K. Rowling single-handedly rejuvenated the reading culture. Every author that's making a money today owes some sort of mental or direct compensation, cut money to J.K. Rowling for keeping alive the custom of reading books. Because if now reading habit goes away, it's not a problem because we have audiobooks. Agar 90s mein reading habit chala jata, and if J.K. Rowling had not made reading a mainstream demand, once again, rejuvenated it, if she hadn't done it, we would have lost reading completely. Writing books would be dead today. Okay, and Audible would not have had come in the 90s. So J.K. Rowling absolutely saved it. Commie kids think that leftists and to extent Congress made India independent, while Hindutva guys like Hindu Mahasabha were stooges and laying eggs. Yes, and the idea that they were against independence, they did not want independence, they did not participate in the Bharat Chhoro Andolan, etc. How to counter that according to you? Give them the real history. Tell them what did they do. Self-motivation is good, but our systems too need to reform. Yeah. No, it's actually discouraged by virtue of promoting English over everything else. I think certain sources of Quran were translated by him in Bengali poem. I see. Okay. And how so many modern professions can be categorized into 4 Varna classification? Because the Varnas what I've read about Varnas are pretty clear. Brahmins do the priestly work, propagate education, and they teach, they write Shastras, which is the equivalent of what professors do to this day. And Vaishyas are entertainers, okay, or self-employed businessmen. So that's your artist, musician, everyone, okay, entrepreneur, everything. Shudras are lower caste people. Every profession today comes in some way or the other in some Varna. Only thing I can't figure out is who is the politician. A politician is the equivalent of an amatya probably, or a bureaucrat, because Kshatriyas are no longer the people who are running the country, right? So that's where it's a bit confusing. But other than that, let's say software engineer. Who would he be? Vaishya. Many credit the British for starting Bengal Renaissance. In fact, I just think it started because Hindus, who were the leaders of the movement, were the first time in many years not under Muslim rule. Yes, absolutely. Files, you are absolutely correct here. थोड़ा मतलब ওই হাঁপ ছেড়ে বাঁচা বলে যাকে আর কি. They had some brief moment to respite. আচ্ছা, finally we are not at the threat of getting killed all the fucking time. Now let's read up on Hindu culture a little bit. That's why in the 1920s you see so many Hindu works coming up. History of Dharma Shastras, history of Indian philosophy, Sri Aurobindo, all of them are writing their best work in the 1920s. Parashara compares a Brahmin by birth with a lion made of wood, both useless. Yes, and I quoted this from Manusmriti, where everyone is giving me gali, calling me chamar ka bachcha. How come Chandragupta Maurya have no mention? Doesn't Chanakya's writings have any? No, not so far. So far there is no mention of Chandragupta Maurya, because Arthashastra is being written as a high-end classified document for only kings to read. It's being passed around among kings. Okay, it's a sort of a manual to how to run your country. It's a personal self-help book for a king. So I think he was not mentioned because either he didn't exist, because maybe he's really an amalgamation, which would be the far left commie argument, that he was an amalgamation of many characters, or I would say that he was not mentioned because no one thought he needs to be mentioned. क्या है चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य है, कुछ अच्छा काम किया है, अलग से mention करने का क्या था? Or if at all it was mentioned, maybe that particular text where his name today exists, we have not translated that because there are about 40 lakh manuscripts that are laying untranslated in different museums all across the country. And who knows how many were fucking burned by the Pattharbaz, okay? So the texts mentioning Chandragupta Maurya were probably burned or are laying untranslated, or maybe they thought, mention karne ka kya cheez hai? Whatever's obvious, you don't mention these things. We didn't have this YouTube vlogger mindset in the 300 BCs, right? Like you eating dal and bhat in the morning. Will you document it? Will you document every day? Hi, I am Nirajan Shah. My chief minister is Mamata Banerjee. ऐसे documentation, obvious चीज़ों का documentation हर सुबह उठ के नहीं होता है. और अगर कोई सिग्निफिकेंट वॉर का अगर डॉक्यूमेंटेशन करना पड़े, वहाँ पे अगर चंद्रगुप्त का नाम देना पड़ा और वो नहीं दिया गया, दैट मे बी बिकॉज दैट डॉक्यूमेंट गॉट लॉस्ट. It's quite sad and insulting to Bharatiyas, by the way. English is shoved down our throat. And like Persian, if today we replace it with another language like Sanskrit, then it wouldn't take even half a century for everyone to forget English. Yes, which 90% Indians isn't proficient in English anyway. Yes, and that is why what people say that English is our lingua franca. Chinese or Russian एक दूसरे के बीच में English में बात करते हैं. अरे how the fuck? Oh yes, Jain Puranas mention Chandragupta Maurya. Oh, I see. I didn't know that. No self-respecting civilization undermines its cultural heritage like India does, whether it's language, attire, architecture, music, dance, knowledge systems, etc. Yes, because they are not self-respecting civilization, because there was no Hinduism before 1947. There was no India before 1947. I think the manuscripts should stay untranslated but released online and to public. It will incentivize Sanskrit learning among Indians. That's an interesting view. Okay. Live stream ka live chat finally ended. I see. Okay, I'll get back to Brahma Purana a bit now again. Wait, let me just refresh the chat section. Live chat. Yeah, it's in live chat mode only. Okay. Nrishinga Prasad Bhaduri says, just when the rule of Pandava descendants ended, immediately followed by Nandas. That must be groundbreaking. I see. So Nandas meaning the Nanda dynasty, which was again usurped by Chandragupta Maurya. One nation, two election, क्या ख्याल है? 2.5 साल लोकसभा, 2.5 राज्य. Yeah, that works in USA pretty well. It prohibits a lot of good reforms and also prohibits the stupid prime minister, potential stupid prime minister from taking stupid decisions as well. It's a kind of good check and balance. You skipped a lot of chats. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Let me check. वो scrolling का अजीब चुतियापा है YouTube का. Let me check all the chats. Arigato, yeah. Kill Shambhuka. Shiva, it is Haran. AK scenarios. Nalanda, Rabindranath had a similar. Sir, One Nation. Okay. Many credit British for starting Bengal Renaissance. My father is a very intelligent person, but he keeps asking me for help with property bank documents because he doesn't know much English. Yeah. Here to learn. Mudra Rakshasa, Katha Sarita Sagara mentions Chandragupta Maurya. Okay, the thing with Mudra Rakshasa is that it was written in about 800 or 900 AD, or even probably later, 1200, 1300 AD, even though Chandragupta is supposed to have ruled in 300 BC. So even though we don't need to really credit just Sendrokota's documentation of the Greeks, but contemporary कोई evidence नहीं मिला है आज तक. अब 300 BC का evidence कितना मिलेगा? हाँ, 300 BC का evidence अगर पत्थरबाज नहीं जला था तब भी कितना मिलता? हमारा तो ये मेन प्रॉब्लम है कि अनट्रांसलेटेड मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स है, पत्थरबाज ने जला डाला. फिर उसका बाद में ये चीज़ है कि क्या क्या अंदर दब क्या है, उसके ऊपर तो हमने पूरा शहर गांव बना लिया है क्योंकि हमारा है फर्टाइल लैंड. ये टर्की में 11,000 साल पहले का सिविलाइजेशन मिल गया. कैसे है? तो भोसरी के पूरा का पूरा डेजर्ट वो छोड़ के कोई चला गया और बाद में एक्सकवेटर्स आके इनको मिला अच्छे से, वहाँ पे है मिल रहा है आर्कियोलॉजी का चीज़ें. हमारा तो ऊपर से नदी चला गया होगा, ऊपर में खेत हो गया, ऊपर से शहर बन गया, क्योंकि इट्स नॉट अ डेजर्ट. वी आर ऑल लिविंग वेयर वी लिव्ड फॉर थाउजेंड्स ऑफ ईयर्स ओनली. सो 300 BC का मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट और कितना रहेगा? बट ही कीप्स आस्किंग मी फॉर हेल्प. ओके, या. So Mudra Rakshasa was written in 800 AD or later. So it's about 1000 years of gap between when the thing actually happened and when it was mentioned in Mudra Rakshasa. Why was Quit India movement opposed by many? Why? What were its problematic aspects? One argument is that some people did not want the British to leave because either they thought the Pattharbaz will become too powerful, or that we will really benefit by staying as just another province of the United Kingdom. I don't know exactly what was RSS's justification of it. You didn't answer the name of the Nozrul Jihadi poem. Have never heard of it before. I'm quite shocked to hear this. I don't know the name of the poem. I remember it. I remember reading it. You'll have to look it up on Google. Our universities were burned, so how can we be sure that we were complacent and did not document history? Yeah, I think both may have been the case. But some did survive. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो university जला दिया इसलिए सब चला गया. The things that were even more important and more mainstream, they did survive even the burning of the universities, right? So I'm saying that maybe Chandragupta Maurya was not that important that he had to be absolutely mentioned in the mainstream. I mean, who takes that much of academic interest in history anyway? हमारा तो है रामायण महाभारत घर पे सबका, मनुस्मृति भी है पुरोहित के घर में. तो Chandragupta Maurya maybe was not looked upon as that much with that much importance, or maybe he was not mentioned that with that much mainstream popularity. And even then, even if he was that important and mainstream, he would not be documented in any text that would have been kept at the home, because no one could read and write anyway. So there could have been countless reasons why Chandragupta was not documented well enough. What is the Indic view on Vidyasagar? I don't know. Files, you can read them in Bangla Kavita. I believe they haven't read him yet. Hindu Muslim Juddho is a poem by Nozrul. Yes. No. I don't think the name is Hindu Muslim Juddho. Vidyasagar surprisingly opposed the learning of Sankhya philosophy in Sanskrit college. I see. Why? Bojo, so he was that communal. Yeah, he didn't oppose its learning in Sanskrit college but in schools. I see. Let's see what other comments did I miss. And so many modern professionals we categorize. I did not miss any other comments, right? Okay. Okay. Let's see what further interesting subchapter we have in Brahma Puran next. Burning of Kashi. Oh shit. Okay, let's do this subchapter and then we'll end the live stream. Burning of Kashi. The sages asked to Vyasa that Shauri assumed a human form and performed great deeds. Playfully, he defeated Shakra, Sharva, and all the gods. To carry out divine tasks that other great deeds did Hari. Okay, to carry out divine tasks that other great deeds did Hari perform. Please tell us, we have great curiosity. Vyasa replied, O best among sages, I will tell you. Listen lovingly. For instance, in his incarnation as a man, Krishna burned down Varanasi. There was Paundraka Vasudeva. This means Bengal, right? Yeah, King Paundraka, who pretended to be Vasudeva or Krishna, called himself Vasudeva and sported all of Vasudeva's signs and symbols. Okay, so we are pretty much talking about Bengal right now, right? Okay, interesting. Paundraka Vasudeva. People who were confounded by their ignorance said, Vasudeva has been incarnated on earth, you are he. He thought that he was Vasudeva and that he had assumed an avarata on earth. It's probably supposed to be avatara. Or is it a spelling mistake? Or is there something really called avarata? I think it's a spelling mistake and it's supposed to be avatara. With his entire memory destroyed, he sported all of Vishnu's symbols. O excellent Brahmanas, he sent a messenger to Krishna. Give up the chakra and other symbols. Those truly belong to me. O foolish one, give up everything that is spoken of as belonging to Vasudeva. If you wish to ensure your life, come and seek refuge with me. Addressed in this way, Janardana laughed and spoke to the messenger. The illustrious one said, I will unleash my own sign, the chakra, towards you. O messenger, go and convey these words of mine to Paundraka. I know that your words are driven by good intentions. Therefore, let us act accordingly. I will take my symbols and come to your city. There is no doubt that I will unleash my own sign, the chakra, towards you. Since you have commanded me, I will indeed follow your instructions and come, without any delay. I will act accordingly and come tomorrow. O king, I will certainly seek refuge with you. Having been told this, the messenger left. As soon as Hari remembered him, Garuda arrived and astride Garuda, he swiftly left for the city. The Lord of Kashi heard about Keshava's efforts. Okay. Now a footnote is given. Paundraka was not the king of Kashi. He was the king of Vanga and Pundra in what is West Bengal and Bangladesh now. His capital, Mahasthangarh. Okay, that's Mahasthanam, the ancient Shaivite hub, guys. His capital, Mahasthangarh, is in the village of Mahasthanam, in Mahasthan, in Bogra district of Bangladesh. At the time of this incident, he was visiting his friend, the king of Kashi. Okay. I see. So, when he said that he's king of Kashi, doesn't mean that. He was visiting his friend who was the king of Kashi. That famous Mahasthan. It is in Bangladesh. With all his soldiers and companions, he arrived so as to provide support along the flanks. Paundraka Vasudeva surrounded himself with a large army, including the army of the king of Kashi, and advanced against Keshava. Okay, this is insane. A king of Bengal fighting directly Krishna. Hari saw him from a distance, seated on his chariot. He held a chakra, a conch shell, and a mace in his hands. He also had a lotus in his hands. He was garlanded and held the Shanga bow. Suprana adorned his standard. His chest bore the Shivatsa mark. All these were imitations. He had a diadem and earrings and was attired in yellow garments. So, Paundraka was dressed up like Krishna, okay? Hari saw all this. On seeing this, the Garuda on his standard, laughed in a deep voice. O Brahmanas! He fought with that army, consisting of elephants and horses and full of swords, double-edged swords, clubs, spears, javelins and bows. In an instant, piercing arrows that were like fire were released from the Shanga bow. That entire army was destroyed and brought down through these and the mace and the chakra. Janardana also conveyed the army of the king of Kashi to its destruction. He then spoke to the foolish Pondraka, who was sporting his own signs. The illustrious one said, "O Pondraka, through the mouth of the messenger, you had asked me to let go of my signs. That is exactly what I will do now. I am releasing my chakra, I am throwing away my mace, I have commanded Garuda. Let him climb atop your standard." Saying this, he released his own chakra, which destroyed Pondraka's chakra. His mace uprooted his mace. His Garuda shattered his Garuda. At this, lamentations arose among the people. Seeing that his friend was in trouble, the Lord of Kashi fought with Vasudeva. The arrows released from the Shanga bow severed his head and flung it inside the city of Kashi, causing great wonder among the people. In this way, Shauri killed Pondraka and the king of Kashi and his followers. What is happening? He returned to Dwaravati and amused himself as the immortals do in heaven. The people saw the head of the king of Kashi fall down inside the city and exclaimed, "What is this? Who has done this?" They were astounded. Learning that he had been killed by Vasudeva, his son, assisted by the priests, satisfied Shankara. Okay, his son meaning the son of the king of Kashi. Okay, learning that he had been killed by Vasudeva, by the son of the king of Kashi, and assisted by the priests, this satisfied Shankara. Shankara was propitiated in the great Kshetra of Avimukta and told the son of the king, "Ask for a boon." Okay, Avimukta is another name for Varanasi. He said, "O illustrious one, O Maheshwara, through your favors, for the sake of slaying Krishna, my father's killer, let a Kritya arise." Okay, Kritya is a feminine deity to whom sacrifices are offered for destructive purposes. Kritto. Thus addressed, he agreed that it would be this way. From a spot behind the Dakshinagni, from the place where the fire was kept, a giant Kritya arose. Her terrible and cruel mouth blazed. Her disheveled hair was in flames. Angry, she exclaimed, "Krishna, Krishna!" and rushed towards Dwaravati. All the people saw the terrible one, with malformed eyes. They went and sought shelter with Madhusudana, the refuge of the universe. The people said, "The son of the king of Kashi has worshipped the one with the bull on his banner." Okay, इसका नाम क्या है इस concept का? Vrishabharuda, right? Or even Vrishankaya. Vrishabharuda means riding a bull. Vrishankaya or Vrishadhvaja means having the symbol of the bull on the flag or banner. The son of the king of Kashi has worshipped the one with the bull on his banner, meaning he has worshipped Shiva. O one who wields the chakra, for your death a giant Kritya has arisen. Slay the fierce Kritya. Her matted hair is blazing like flames. Matted hair. At that time, his mind was fixed on playing dice. However, he playfully hurled his chakra. It was extremely terrible and emitted flames, dense with garlands of fire. Agnimala. Vishnu's Sudarshana chakra followed Kritya. Devastated by the chakra, Maheshwari Kritya started to run away speedily. However, just as fast, it started to follow her. O supreme among sages, Kritya quickly entered Varanasi, her power having been countered by Vishnu's chakra. The entire force of Kashi and the army of Pramathas advanced against the chakra with all kinds of shastras and astras. The army unleashed many kinds of shastras and astras. However, it consumed all these. Having destroyed all these, it went to the city of Varanasi. There were large numbers of servants, citizens, horses, elephants, and humans there. There were innumerable fortifications and chambers that even the gods could not glance at. The flames engulfed all the houses, ramparts, and turrets. Swiftly, the chakra burned down the city and everything in it. The eyes found it impossible to behold it. However, completely indifferent, it did all this with very little effort. Dazzling in its brilliance, the chakra then returned to Vishnu's hand, like a boomerang. This is where this subchapter ends. Next day's subchapter will be Balarama's greatness. Okay, that would be a nice place to start. Now again, let me check some comments. And after that, when the comments end, we'll go offline. Shohid is another my nozul. Okay, yeah, that might be it, because Shohid absolutely means that, who died trying to kill some kafirs. In that letter, he is clear. In his youth, he was convinced that Samkhya Vedanta is false. Okay. Avatar, yeah, it's supposed to be Avatar, not Avarata. Read Dushashona and Raktapan by Nozrul. It's interesting. I see. There's a series going on in Sangam Talks called Luminaries of Bengal. It's good. It's good series with emotional impact. But defended Raja Rammohn Roy, covered Swami Vivekananda, Rabindranath, etc. Yeah. Now, defense of Raja Rammohn Roy, some corners se ho to theek hai. Let some people be happy with their idols, that okay, just because of Bengali pride, I'm going to appreciate every Bengali that ever was born here. But we know what's the truth. We know what Rammohn Roy said in his letter about Sanskrit. We know how he made fun of Sanskrit. We know how he used Sanskrit as a straw man, that why should we have a Sanskrit college? Who will benefit from reading Vedanta? अरे भाई, साइंस संस्कृत में पढ़ सकते थे, वेदांत ही क्यों पढ़ना है? वेदांत पढ़ेंगे, फिलोसॉफी क्लास में पढ़ेंगे, रिलीजियस स्टडीज क्लास में पढ़ेंगे, हिंदुइज्म स्टडीज कोर्स में पढ़ेंगे संस्कृत में वेदांत. बाकी सब कुछ बंद कर दिया, संस्कृत में पढ़ने से रोक दिया क्यों? But also we can have this nuanced opinion that Raja Rammohn Roy maybe saw Sanskrit as a direct weapon of Brahmins. Maybe he was seeing Brahminical oppression everywhere. And that's why I thought, no, Sanskrit, anytime I think of the word Sanskrit, all I think of is some Brahmin speaking rudely to some Shudra. Therefore, I'm going to eliminate this entire thing itself. Just learn English and study and get a job. Like how even Hindus today argue for everything, right? Development होना, Hindu Muslim काहे करे? Development, flyover बनाओ, ठीक हो जाएगा. So that is what Raja Rammohn Roy may have thought. But whatever other oppositions he did, etc., of missionaries, etc., which I don't know personally, but some people have argued in my comment sections that Raja Rammohn Roy did do. For that, then great. But he is buried in England, okay? That is important. All our famous Muslim scholars, famous Muslim politicians, famous Muslim religious leaders, all of them preferred to be buried in the Middle East, right? Raja Rammohn Roy is buried in England. So who treats which land as their motherland is also a significant thing. Like, for example, last day's live stream, I was talking about the reverend who founded my school, right? When he was being asked in letters, he's asking for more funds to create a school for poor children who are basically half white, half Anglo-Indian kids left behind in the streets of Calcutta. White people, white kids begging on the streets of Calcutta wearing dhotis because of British soldiers and bureaucrats randomly having sex with random Indian women and leaving them and going away back to England. For them, he wanted to found that school. People are sending him money and saying that we are sending this money to convert more people. Why are you making a school instead? He's saying, I'll see that. I'll do it. But he doesn't convert in the end. He doesn't do any conversions. He just makes a school. In fact, learns local languages. He knew Nepali, Hindi, Bengali, everything. He was inspired from Ramakrishna Paramahansa. And he is buried. His wife is buried in the school campus itself. In the school that I studied in West Bengal, in the hills. So that shows whose loyalty lies where. He didn't think that he has to be buried in his homeland in Scotland only. Swami Vivekananda, Rabindranath, yeah, they tried to defend him. I commented a lot in the comment section. Vidyasagar thought modern science had falsified Vedanta and Samkhya. To his sad fate, Swamiji proved it wrong. I see. Ek Allah Zindabad is another by Nazrul. I see. Suparna Bodhaya hobe that. Yeah, it does have some spelling mistakes. It's probably not Suprana. Okay. Allah Zindabad was written because atheism was becoming popular in Bengal at the time. Who knows? None of the Nazrul poems you have mentioned are pro-jihad or anti-Hindu. Nazrul was Muslim after all. He wrote poems about Islam too, but it doesn't mean those poems were anti-Hindu. The poem I'm talking about, specifically mentioned, was a call for violence towards Muslims. That, chalo youth karte hain. It had that kind of lines in the poem. I can't remember the name of that particular poem. Bajiche Damama, Badre Amama and Rono Bheri are about supporting Khilafat. Yes, this is the poem I'm talking about. What was the name of this poem? I think Bajiche Damama is the line I remember. Non-English speakers face a kind of linguistic apartheid casteism in India. Paraphrasing Rajiv Malhotra, yes. I don't agree that he was anti-Hindu, but he was pro-jihad and he understood jihad and dharma yuddha as the same thing. Like kafir and adharmi means the same to him in Dushashan poem. I see. Holy shit. অ্যাপ ঠেলে বলছিলাম কবিতাগুলো আগে পড়া ছিল যদিও ওকে so that's the end of today's live stream then end of comment section thanks for joining guys good night see you tomorrow most probably I'm 90% sure I'm coming live tomorrow okay good night then